Facebook from a listener claiming that after I gave his number out, he's getting a lot of penis pics. And
as he should.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of death threats, a lot of unwanted things.
How does it feel to have
No
the
more
And
anonymity.
And he called me a lot of names. Was very angry with me, and so I ignored him and I unfriended him on Facebook.
There you go. Block him.
I didn't block him yet. I
You don't
unfriended
have
him.
the right to send in vile text and not expect it to come back.
That's
to
my
you.
new thing. From now on, every time you make fun of me, your full number is going out there.
There you
and I'm going
go.
to repeat it two, three times, just so people get it.
There you go.
2 treats.
Had enough.
Don't
I've
send the
had
stuff
enough.
in.
Well, the podcast you can rewind too. That's the nice part. All right, I guess I'll move on to my question. If you guys,
Doug Willie has a question for you.
Okay.
Doug, Charlie, Tim, what is your favorite TV theme song?
You know what I like?
Abel kept on singing the Growing Pains theme the other day.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the right answer is different strokes, isn't it?
Well, there's no right or wrong answer, Tim.
Oh, there's
It's
a right
personal
answer.
preference.
Yeah,
There's more wrong answers than right answers.
Yeah, that
The
makes
greatest theme song of all time is probably Gilligan's Island theme song.
That's a
we
good
had
one.
we had an entire population of the country could sing that
Same as the
at a certain age.
Friends theme song, very popular.
You know,
With the
I'm going to say Gilligan's Island.
I like the theme song, the intro to Entourage.
Oh, it's a good one.
Kind of sets the tone.
Oh, yeah.
Is this?
Yeah.
Is this?
Oh, yeah.
Then to me, then you have to throw in The Sopranos. It's a nice play, isn't it?
Does the montage included make a big difference?
Would that song hold as much weight without the drive through New Jersey, Doug?
Probably not.
I agree with you.
Before and after 9/11.
Think about it.
A texture with a good idea here. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Also, everybody knows that song.
The Mary Tyler Moore theme song was pretty good.
You're so old.
They were just real songs.
I remember Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke was just a musical bed. There was no
the ditty.
there was no singing.
Remember
in
the
Gunsmoke.
Marx Brothers?
I don't know that they had a theme song, Chuck.
So is that it?
We can do more.
No, I think everybody.
Willie had
Doug,
a
I think
pencil in
everybody.
his mouth.
I think everybody got a question in there. I think everybody got a question in there.
I actually have another great
Oh,
one.
Doug, it's Weezer.
I would love for this answer. Pictures surfaced on my Twitter account yesterday. Not the ones most people would think would surface on my Twitter account, but a Croatian vending machine that cooks and dispenses pizza. What food items would you guys like to see in a vending machine?
White Castles.
Doug?
White Castles are pretty good, yeah. Are they not there now? I mean, you can get pizza in vending machines for a while. Mini little pizzas.
Oh, they're not hot though, are they?
Well, you got to cook them,
Yeah, warm them up real nice.
I want them ready to eat.
do you? That's what the microwave is for, right there in the employee.
It's too much work.
Okay. I miss a good Hostess cherry pie in the vending machine. They don't even make those anymore, do they? Hostess out of business?
Charlie, what do you want?
I'm gonna say, Doug. I'm gonna say a fudge round.
Don't say fudge.
Not an oatmeal cream pie.
Hell is a fudge round.
It's a fudge version, and I shouldn't have said this because I left myself open to a lot of puns and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's the fudge version of an oatmeal cream pie. Very good.
It just looks
I believe
like
it's Little Debbie.
like a fudgy hockey puck or something.
Pretty much. Real good. Real nice like.
Doug, fudge round is the answer.
It isn't the good answer.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Check out listener rewards on the new TMA mobile app. Watch the show live on the TMA studio cams. Find it at TMASTL.com. Get the podcast on the TMA app. Download it now.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, is with us. Ryan, rates are still going up. Is it a good time to buy a house still?
Absolutely, Doug. It truly is. We have a saying at the Home Loan Expert office. You marry the house, you date the rate. You fall in love with the house. You're going to be there for a while. But the mortgage, you're probably going to refinance that along the way. Let me give you a great explanation of how this is a perfect time to buy a home. Let's say the house is for sale for $400,000. A year ago, with multiple offers, you might have had to spend $450,000 or $475,000 to buy that house. But now, in officially a buyer's market, you might be able to get that same house for $350,000. So homes are selling for less, and that's great. Now, mortgage rates are up, but don't let that scare you. Again, you marry the house, you date the rate. Mortgage rates will come back down at some point, and at thehomeloanexpert.com, we will refinance you with no fees to help keep that payment down. So again, it's a great time to buy a home. Don't let a little higher interest rate scare you. We'll refinance you without fees when the time's right. So, got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You're listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After. We are in our Michelob Ultra Studios. Munganess, St. Louis, Acura, Alton, Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Timothy, Michael McKernan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, Kenneth Iggy Strode, Action Jackson, Plowhawk with you. Let's get right into it, Doug.
What?
Phone lines, 636-9004 TMA. It's a press conference Wednesday. 636-9004 TMA. Get involved via the Steve Schmidt Kia North County phone lines or the Engineer Design Facilities text inbox 314-881-TMA5. Watch on YouTube and decide who you want to go private with, and we will step out and we will cyber it with you. That's kind of what we got for you.
The rest of us just kind of sit there, smoke a cigarette or something, sip some wine, while our cohort goes private for 2-3 minutes.
That's
how
correct.
this is working.
We just play Timeco music while we all get our sheets.
Yep. That's essentially what we got going here. That's who we are. That's what we've become. That's what the audience wants.
I'd like to watch.
You put on
What do you want to watch?
The private show.
From one of your cohorts here? Behind the curtain?
No, it will be a female on the YouTube.
It won't be. No, it
could
won't be.
You imagine how meta that is? You're going to go private to watch Doug go private. It's like a 3-tiered. Man, that's great. And I think it would be fun with the Timeco music and then have on YouTube, like, technical difficulties, that like, banner.
Well, I'm down.
Whatever makes the station money. And that's always been my credo.
Yeah, penny saved, penny earned.
Right.
This is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. I'm in deep. Doug the Blues, hi, how are you?
Oh my
Well, they're so bad that I'm not going to be much good to you. I can't bounce back after 8 straight, and they're not even close games.
What makes you say that?
Well, the scores. It's usually the scores is what makes me say that.
It was scoreless about 4 minutes in, wasn't it?
And 2 fights on the board. I actually bet the Blues last night, I'll be dead serious. And they were minus 140. They were minus 140. Now, I realize it's because the Flyers had a guy who doesn't enjoy stopping pucks in because of illness. And I thought, okay, it's got to end. And now it's just... I wonder if something's going to happen between now and tomorrow night. But then I go, I don't know what can happen between now and tomorrow night. Craig Berube, not necessarily upbeat. Ryan O'Reilly, even less upbeat. Let's take a listen to the captain.
Okay.
Doug here as El Capitan following the loss last night. And what was it, 1-0 final? Is that
5-1.
5-1. We got a
All right, at the leader.
I think we have some guys that are stepping up, doing great things. Shenner with a huge fight, and then Bobo with a huge fight. It's just, yeah. I feel I'm supposed to lead this team, and I have not doing nearly enough. I know other guys too. There's a lot more that needs to be done. Yeah, I don't have the answer for it now. I know what I'm doing isn't working.
That's the captain.
No, it's not working. It's not working for anybody. I don't think you can do anything with Berube, a guy who took you to the Stanley Cup, a guy who had maybe the second best team in the NHL last year, possibly. And now you're going to say that he doesn't have it?
It's not the coach, because if a Berube's decision, probably wouldn't have signed Kyrou to an extension and probably would have re-signed David Perron. If this was strictly Berube's team, I think those are the moves he would have done. So you can't blame the coach for, again, Armstrong has been great. He hits 9 out of 10 times. So, you know, this is this season that kind of people were grilling him. But he has had a ton of success here. But it's not Berube. I mean, it's clearly the team.
Yeah. Well, we're in the gutter in the Central. We're in the gutter in the entire
What makes
Western
you say
Conference. What, last place?
Yep.
They've only got 6 points in 11 games.
So what?
So that's not good.
Well, at this point, at some point you think, oh, okay, this team is not good. But why blow it up now? I mean, we're not going anywhere. So just wait till the end of the year and just, you know, there's nothing we can do now to go on a 15-game winning streak.
Well, the reason you would do that is to get something for guys who are going to be going next
but
year.
nobody wants to do it this early, I wouldn't think.
That or you make a move to kind of just sound the alarms to the other players.
Shake it up.
Yeah, hey, you know, if you don't want to be here, we're going to trade you.
Jeremy Rutherford will be with us at 8 o'clock today. He is with us every Wednesday, presented by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. And, Doug, we will pepper him with our questions. He has a good column this morning on theathletic.com. The title, Analyzing the Blues Options as Losing Streak Hits a Franchise Record.
Yeah.
8 games.
Some of it's on him.
Jeremy Rutherford?
Yeah.
Good for you.
He's got to go in the locker room, put his finger in some people's chests, and I don't think he's doing that. So I'd say 4 or 5 of these losses are on Rutherford.
For you.
I'm reading a bunch
So
of
we're going to hold him
pieces.
accountable.
Yeah. You're tired of reading fluff pieces?
The media in this town.
It's soft.
It's a bunch of frauds.
Yeah, they're the reason for it. That's for sure. You can blame the media for everything, including the Blues' 8-game losing streak. We're not tough enough.
Yeah, the backup gave up another 5, so.
You're down on that Grice.
Well, Bennington's not playing any better. He's getting no help on the back end, but still.
Yeah. I like that. I like the canned laughter in the background if we can come up with a good line.
Mr. Licks is, or somebody's complaining. I just assume it's about Pepper and Jeannie. It's Mr. Licks. What happened with Pepper and Jeannie yesterday? What happened with Pepper and Jeannie yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
It's Tracy Woodson. What happened to
presentation?
Pep and Jean yesterday?
Yeah, we took a much-needed day off. Needed to be done. No, we were having issues with automation, and probably could have done it in the ESPN booth. My problem was I had to stay on the phone with Craig Rutledge, our fantastic engineer.
Craig Rutledge.
But, I needed to make sure that this, because it was playing out of the computer, so once that ends, we're at dead air. So I kind of needed to be... Jackson, do you feel me on that? I needed to be in here to tend to a situation that needed to be tended to.
Jackson is the chairman of Pepper and Jeannie LLC.
I don't know if I made the right call, but I don't want to be in a studio for 20 minutes while having technical issues in our main studio.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you're the last line of defense there, and you can't leave your post.
Look, the only guy that knew it wasn't on is the guy that doesn't listen, supposedly, so doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, it was a much-needed day off for you.
I'm kidding about that. I was serious about the second part, Doug, where there were issues that needed to be tended to. They're fixed.
Oh, good.
All good. We have the new Open ready for
What was wrong with it?
Today, PNG. It just wasn't a lot of space, so we had to delete a bunch of stuff because our audio files weren't firing because
Doug, they're not firing.
There wasn't enough space. Now
So
it's fine.
now the new Open is ready.
New Open was ready yesterday for yesterday's program, but ran into issues.
But we can't hear it because there's a curse word in it.
Well, we will be able to hear it after we play it today. I want to make sure that the first time listeners hear it is on the Open of, Pepper and Jeannie. You got to tease it and get those listeners wanting more.
I see.
yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's pretty sad they're going to listen for the Open and then turn it off.
Tim heard it yesterday.
I did
Very
hear
quick.
It is legitimately outstanding. Now, it's lengthy.
Oh.
It's lengthy.
Why?
Rarely does a podcast that go average approximately 10 minutes have 20% of its content be the Open.
Oh.
But in the case of Pepper and Jeannie, that's what we have. But I have to tell you this. I don't know who, Iggy, I don't know if you deserve the credit. Carly, Plowhawk, I'm sure it was a team effort.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, with some TV shows, the opening theme song is better than the show itself. So
Different strips.
Yeah. Gilligan's Island, that kind of thing. So maybe this is an example of that.
And if you
knock on my door.
And if you hear P&G's content, like somebody who's never heard the podcast, they probably wouldn't sign up for 20% of the show being the Open. Then you hear the content, and they're like, maybe we could get even a longer Open. That's
Right.
probably what they're thinking.
Because it's not content rich.
We need to talk about Roadkill.
Well, I wrote the script. Carly voice a script, and then I knew what drops I wanted in certain areas, and then I left the rest to Plowsy. I said, now you just pick what drops you want to put in here that fit. So it was a team effort.
I picked a really good Mr. Licks drop.
Oh, did
I'll
you?
do a little hint. And it was in perfect time, too. So I'll give myself credit on that.
Oh, nice.
The Loomster, Doug, and he is up for Listener of the Year. Says, we always listen to the open and then turn it off, Iggy, because it auto-plays and we have to scramble for our phone to shut the damn thing off.
Very similar when I see his post on fan page.
Oh, no.
Counterattack.
To the squirrel past. I'm sure this is riveting content.
I don't
Oh,
get-
look, I got a message.
I don't get how it automatically plays. I know it shows up on your feed.
Not a good topic to revisit.
Yeah, not at this time.
So people just hit our app.
People are tense.
And your podcast plays?
I think it just plays, like, if you have automatic autoplay, which I assume most people do if they podcast. So after segment 3 of TMA, the next thing that is put on the podcast feed is Pepper and Gene.
No, it comes right up there.
So there it is.
Okay.
Part of my morning routine, like Kevin Spacey in the opening of American Beauty, Doug, is to pleasure myself in the shower.
Oh.
I get done with that. I ride my Sibian. And while I'm riding my Sibian, I will go through the podcast for the day because I need to have something for my 12-and-a-half-minute commute here because that's a little longer than I'd prefer. And then I see all of the audio files that have been downloaded or night. Like that when somebody says or night.
I don't
as
like
opposed
it.
to
No, you
overnight.
got more time than that.
And TMA's files include our 3 separate hours of the show. The Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour, the Appliance Discounters 8 o'clock hour, and the Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour. And then you also will have whatever edition of Pepper and Genie may or may not have been recorded that day. In the case of
Okay.
yesterday, there was no Pepper and Genie because of malfunctions.
I had a much-needed day off.
Well, I needed the day off.
Well, you did.
Yeah, I had things to do.
Absolutely you did.
I had things to do, so I just went
the day
about my
off.
day.
Okay, that's fair.
That 15 minutes that we would have spent on Pepper and Genie saved me a lot of time.
Much-needed time.
Much needed time off.
See, there you go.
You can't just crank out this content every day.
No.
Without taking some time off to just.
Because it requires a lot of research, a lot of fact-checking, that sort of thing.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Each have your interns out there pounding the pavement, looking for content.
Look, when you come up with a topic while you're out smoking at 10:05, that's preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if Pepper and Genie had an intern program? Like some college student from Northwestern spent their summer working with Pepper and Genie.
Chimera Corp or
And they had to report
Chimerica
back to his
Industries.
professor.
Wait till Biff asks for AVN credentials and he goes in and signs up. And Pepper and Genie podcast, that's what he's using.
Biff said he was going to call this morning at 7:15 from Hawaii.
Oh, he's in Hawaii.
Yeah. He's in
6
Hawaii.
hours behind? Is that Hawaii?
6,
So
I
it's
believe.
1:15? 7?
6, I think.
So we calling at 1 a.m.
I hear something.
No, he said he's going to call 7:15 our time.
Yeah, that's like 1:15.
That's like right now. Is he calling now? He's not calling now.
That's like
I
1:15.
see Jackson's talking. Maybe that's what I hear. I hear something.
What's up?
Doug, are you on the phone with somebody?
I just got off the phone with someone.
Was that Biff?
That's Biff.
All right.
He's in Hawaii.
Well, let's see what he's got to say.
Good morning, Biff.
Biff.
Here is Biff on the
Biff.
Steve Schmidt Key of North County phone lines from Hawaii.
Yeah. Biff?
Hello, man.
Oh, there he is. How are
Oh,
you?
man.
Oh, I'm well, and how are you all?
Well, we're doing okay. What are you doing in Hawaii?
Yeah, what do you got going on?
Biff!
Doug, what's going on?
Biff!
He's on there.
Hello, Biff!
I'll tell you how the conversation went. Biff, would you like to go to a wedding with me? Sure. All right, it's in
Yeah,
Hawaii.
yeah.
You're paying.
That's the conversation.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here in Hawaii. Came down for a wedding. It's pretty nice here.
Whose
I like it.
wedding?
Some girl named Michelle.
Oh, you don't even know her, do you?
Well, put it to you like this. Tim would appreciate this story. You know, Tim, when you're at the strip club at about 5, 6 in the morning and you meet a girl, that's how I met the bride. She was being drugged on stage and having her clothes dragged off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Sporting AF.
True love.
And that got you an invitation to the wedding?
It's the way it usually works.
No, I was invited a few months before that, but the bachelorette party decided to use me to get them into the VIP club at the Pit House, and Tim knows how that works. and
A
they
lot of
came and picked
taxidermy
me
there,
up.
Doug.
You know a lot of things today, don't you?
These are stories from my past, unfortunately.
You just get back from the Waikiki strip club?
Waikiki. No, we're up in Kauai. We're up in the big North Island. It's a little more remote up here. Yeah.
I'll ask the question Doug's afraid to ask. Any girl-on-girl play, though?
Oh,
Tim, they're wearing instead of bikini shells, they wear the coconut shells over their boobs. But, you know what I'm saying? Those coconut shells. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. You like those, do you?
Very much so.
Do you?
Wouldn't you?
Well, I guess I don't think I've ever seen a really good coconut shell bikini.
Huh. You're missing it, Doug. You need to get on the action.
Doug, go to Hurricane Harbor in about 7 months. Be able to-
How long of a flight was that?
There last year.
I'll see. So it's 3 hours from St. Louis to Phoenix, 2-hour layover in Phoenix.
Nice.
And then about 6.5 hours over here.
There you go.
This is Kauai, so it's a little bit farther. It's up the northern Big Island.
It's about 12 hours total in terms of flight and layover. Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I had a chick with me, so you know, if you got a chick with you on a plane,
Who is this
time
chick?
flies.
Who is this chick?
She's the one that invited you to the wedding, right?
Yeah, my assistant Dee Dee, Double D. Yeah, she invited me. Yeah,
I thought that was
Yeah.
Dr. Holly Goodhead.
No, she's in reserve. Got Double D as my assistant now. She's been the main assistant for like 13 and a half years.
She was a stripper?
No, she just worked at Show Me's on the Landing, though. If you remember that place.
Sure.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having quite a time down there, are you?
Oh, Doug, yeah, I don't want to come home. This is the place to be. You ever been here?
I have not been to
Yeah, I
Hawaii.
haven't been there either.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, I got airfare for two. You can get airfare for two for about, just the airfare for one round trip, about $750. It's
That's
not that bad.
No.
No, it's a long ways to go, you know?
Yeah.
That's the reason I haven't gone. My good friend Gary, who I grew up with.
Who is this Gary?
Gary Cruz. He lives in Hawaii. He was a postman, got a job in, it's almost like the Seinfeld episode where Newman gets a job as the postal
He got the transfer.
in Hawaii, and he got a job transferred to Hawaii, and he's now retired, just plays golf every day. So I have a place to stay for free if I go out there. I just don't
Gary's.
want to spend that much time on an airplane. It takes too long to get there.
Oh.
Hey. Well, like I said, if you got a chick with you, you got an attractive chick with some nice breasts.
Oh.
You sit by that window seat and watch movies the whole time. The flight over here was as good as being over here.
Huh.
Just got to find you a good chick to hang out with, Iggy.
Yeah, one of your employees. Well, you don't have HR there, do you?
HR, what's that stand for?
Human resources.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're down to, we got 2 more nights and 2 more days. I've seen, we're on this bluff overlooking the ocean in Kauai, if you look at a map. Okay. And, I've seen the first night, I know Cletus gets up at 2 in the morning. He claims whatever time he is. I call Cletus, I'm talking to him, drinking beer out here. I've seen the biggest shooting star I've ever seen in my life, and there's stars everywhere over the ocean. Yeah. And then the next night, I'm sitting out here right about sunset, and Dee Dee's out here smoking cigarettes, my assistant, and I see rainbows. I thought, wow, there's a rainbow. It's raining and it's sunshine, and next thing you know, I saw 7 rainbows in 20 minutes.
7 rainbows, 20 minutes.
Could be a record. Could be a record.
Yeah, that could be a rainbow record.
Yeah. Well, and then now after about 18 Mick Ultras, I'm pretty sure I saw a mermaid down on the beach.
Oh, you didn't.
Daryl Hannah and Tom Hank.
And there's not supposed to be any snakes in Hawaii. Have you seen any snakes? Supposedly there are none.
Doug,
Yes.
this is the only certified place on Earth that has no snakes.
Yeah, I like
in
that.
Hawaii.
I like that.
0 snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, everywhere you go, there's chickens and roosters running around, and peacocks, because they have no predators.
Right, and
They're
birds,
everywhere.
yeah.
You should live here, Doug. It's the one place on Earth where there's no snakes.
I would like that. I would like that very much.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
If I can afford a house, it costs about $4 million a year. Maybe I'll look into that. Very expensive.
Well, okay.
So there's a lot of
Well,
rats
that-
then?
No, I ain't seen a mice, a rat, a rat, an insect, nothing. Oh, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now?
Yeah.
You just hanging out on your lanai?
Don't say lanai.
What's a lanai? A condo?
Like a back porch type of deal?
Oh yeah, I'm out on the patio looking at the ocean. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I got the large-breasted assistant. She's in the bed. I'm out here. I stayed up just to call in to you, talk to you boys.
Sounds like a type of bird, a large-breasted assistant. Oh, thank you, Biff.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
You're sharing a bed with your assistant.
yeah. Only thing is I'll tell you this. You ain't gonna believe it. Is her friend that got married, and I paid for the trip, and I don't know any of these people except for, as I told Tim, I met the girl when she got drugged on stage at the strip bar 6 weeks ago. Okay. And she drank too much on the way here, and she got, what's it called? Motion sickness?
Sure.
And she's been laid up in bed for 4 days. So I went to the wedding by myself, and I barely knew the bride. I met her mom over the phone because she helped me get the accommodations. Have you ever went to a wedding with lots of people and you didn't know anyone except for the girl that got drugged on a strip bar? That's kind of where I ended up.
Yeah.
No.
No, I've not had that experience.
Got put in an odd place, to say the least, you know?
Well, at least you're in Hawaii.
Well, she got a free trip out of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all good. I think I made 40 friends.
Oh,
It's all good.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Biff, send pictures. Wonderful anecdote. Enjoy Hawaii. God bless you, and God bless the continental United States of America.
Oh yeah. Hey Tim, I got the shortest poem ever I wrote. If you can let me read that real quick.
Doug, do you have time for that? Because I know you
If
had.
it's brief, it can't be too long.
Oh, it's like 3 lines. It's like it's the shortest one I've ever wrote.
Okay, let's get to it. 3 lines. Let's get to it.
Rat-a-tat-tat, Doug. To Tim and show. I got the girls are in the coconut tops and bikinis and thongs, and the pig is in the ground, and all my rowdy hula dancers are coming over tonight. There you go.
That's the poem?
Unbelievable.
That was not a poem. That was
Unbelievable.
a run-on sentence. And why is there a pig in the ground? For a luau?
Oh, because we went to at the wedding for the reception. They had a. You heard of a luau, Doug?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we went to a real live luau where they bury the pig on lava rocks and banana leaves. Iggy would love this cooking method. They put the banana leaves and they lava rocks and they cook it all day for like 12 hours on slow heat. And it's not like our barbecue. There's no smoke because it's in the ground. There's no smoke. It's unbelievable. Best pork in the world. Best meat I ever had.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Heck of a poem.
Thank you, Biff. Have a wonderful stay.
All right.
There's Biff on the Steve Schmidt Kia of North County phone lines. Doug, can you tell us about our title sponsor? His name is Ryan Kelly. Online at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Well, Ryan has all kinds of ways to help you through this difficult real estate season that we're in right now. Interest rates are up, but that shouldn't stop you from buying a home. With the housing market returning to normal, now's the time to strike a deal on a house that would have been unheard of a year ago. You can make up for that higher interest rate with a lower asking price on the house. Sellers are looking to make deals right now. Reach out to Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, to get pre-approved for your dream home today. And with Ryan's 10-day closing guarantee, you'll be in your new home faster than ever. When interest rates come back down, and they will come back down eventually, you'll be covered as part of the VIP Refi program. After you make 6 payments on your mortgage, they will refinance you to a new, lower rate with no fees. VIP Refi with no fees when you work with Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Find out more about this program at thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan Kelly and his crew always trying to help make everybody happy. And they're happy to help you. If you have any kind of issues, give them a call. Thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Munganast St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. Munganast has a special finance offer at Acura between now and January 3rd. Certified Acura cars will have 36 months at 0.99% financing for qualified customers. Doug, that's less than 1%. New cars continue to be a challenge at both stores. However, if you place an order, Munganast promises they will get you the car you want. This is St. Louis Acura. This is Munganast, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Those are the two dealerships. Sure, there's Munganass everywhere, but these are the two who sponsor our show and the podcast. So, support the sponsor. Support Munganass, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota, and they have put it together for you. Certified Acura cars. They have 36 months at 0.99% financing. That's less than 1%. Service remains their number one priority with their customers. All makes, all models. Jamie Burkhardt says, hashtag love the show. It's Munganass, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. Munganass, sponsor of the 7 o'clock hour. Beer Cat says, Iggy, you sure are a dick to Biff about how he spends his money considering how much money he has wasted hauling your broke ass around. Hashtag mooch. And I'd love to get Iggy's response, but he has exited the Michelob Ultra Studios.
He got a call from corporate Minneapolis with an assignment.
I believe that's what it is.
He's working on that now.
We've been on air 20 minutes.
Ken Strode has returned to the Michelob Ultra
He had
Studios.
a much-needed break.
Beer Cat sent in a text saying, Iggy, you sure are a dick to Biff about how he spends his money considering how much money he has wasted hauling your broke ass around. Hashtag mooch.
Welcome to the program. Glad you understand it. Now go away.
Oh, there's a T-shirt.
With a certain amount of hatred in your voice.
Just the worst. No, I thought we'd get a couple live spots there to go get some coffee.
Much needed coffee.
It is. I told Plazia, I don't make a cup in the morning when I get up.
No.
I wait till I get here.
Well, sure you do.
So it's always that first sip is so good.
Is it really? The diuretic, you know.
Now I'm on my second cup.
Okay.
And then I'll be done for the day.
All right. It's a shame we can't get a pot of coffee in the studio here so you don't have to leave the show for a while.
The Riz show does that.
Yeah.
What do they do?
You know, we have those 3 Caldi things.
Yeah.
Where you make a full pot.
Mm-hmm.
They make one in the morning, and they just take their whole pot into the studio.
Nice.
Huh. Maybe we need a pot.
No, I just
drink my coffee at home, and I enjoy it. 2 cups, Doug. Two stout cups.
Black?
All black everything. Yeah. No cream, no sugar, just straight black.
Huh.
What kind of coffee maker you have?
I don't know. I'll let my Italian-American wife take care of that.
So we
that kind of falls into the realm of manual labor. And,
Yeah.
You know, she went to.
But I mean, do you have to make a full pot?
I can't possibly.
Food prep.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I let the public school people build.
Do you make a full pot? Is it a full pot or a Keurig?
It's handed to me.
Oh, you don't even do. Oh, wow.
No.
Someone from Kirk
Your wife gets up that early?
Well, CBC because it's a bit of a hybrid.
Anna Marie gets up that early too?
No.
She better.
The CBC guy.
Oh, there's somebody there that makes your coffee. Yeah, that's
correct.
I have a 1-cupper. I just have a 1-cupper.
Oh, I have
One
an
cupper.
espresso machine.
Yeah, 1-cupper.
Doug, 1 cupper they call it.
The one
cupper. I couldn't drink 1 cup of coffee. Couldn't get it down. It tastes so bad.
What about a scotch? What about a nice scotch?
No.
What if I put a scotch in the coffee?
No, I don't like either one of those.
I might put some Tullamore in there. Tullamore.
Nice.
Ooh.
Well, that might be a different thing.
A little Irish whiskey. I put a little whipped cream
He's
on
just
top
sent
of
me a
that.
picture of the girl, the hula dancer. He met and got a phone number. The picture is upside down. So, Doug, I'm gonna use a little software here.
When is it okay to kiss a guy?
To see if I can reverse this.
You got a phone number, so yeah, next week I'll fly back out and say hi.
This guy has a lot of sapphic play in his life.
He takes a lot of pictures.
He does. Well, he's at the foot of the bed.
Yeah, he's
right there at the foot. He's not being cuckolded, is he?
Iggy, is that a...
No, because he doesn't get in the bed very often with the girls.
How do you know?
They let him take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, that guy has way
But he
too
sends
much
them to
money
me.
be cucked.
And I always respond, have you done anything with him, or you just take pictures?
What does he say?
He said, oh, I like taking pictures.
Nice.
Well,
God love you.
Yeah, that's his thing. That's okay.
Yeah, because Doug, as you know, we don't kink shame.
Well, sometimes we do, but not in this case. And you don't know just because he's taking a picture that he hadn't done something else also.
Yeah,
You know, how long does it take to take a picture?
Well, he enjoys it, I guess. I enjoy him when he sends them to me. They usually have...
Oh, you get them.
They're upside down.
Yeah, it's usually the
Give us
girl
a
that
picture.
used to be work at Hot Shots, and she was a stripper. I forgot her name. Miley. She goes by Miley.
Cyrus?
No, the one that has kind of turned lesbian.
Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus.
That's her stripper name, Miley.
Okay.
I forgot her real name.
Worson Woods Wacko active this morning. Virgin, when are you going to block Mr. Licks from everything? Worson Woods Wacko got Daddy Padre blocked, did he not?
Yeah. Well, he was part of the team. Don't address me as Virgin.
Clip that off.
It's a little disrespectful.
Yeah.
Well, if I'll respond, hey, bum. No, I'm kidding. I like the worst one with Wacko. I'm not going to block Licks from anything. This is this is the people's show.
Yeah, sure it is.
So I'm not going to block. I like Licks.
Well, some
and
people
worst
need
one with
blocking.
Wacko.
Sometimes there are much needed blockings.
I think there's only 2 people blocked from the text line, so one of them was a bot.
But as we found out, there apparently were hundreds blocked at KFNS, and we didn't know it until we got here.
Yeah, open up the floodgates.
What was funny is last week I was outside on the patio here, and you know the brothers that own the
Brothers Grimm.
I always call it I always call it
Tall
Bellagio.
tales
I always call it Bellagio because I can't pronounce the name.
Well, it's Bellagio, so you just
okay, Bellagio.
Blocko, not Blocko.
Bellagio.
Bellagio.
It's not Bellagio.
Il Bellagio.
El Bellagio.
Il Bellagio.
Okay, I knew there was something in front of the Bellagio.
Italian.
But Frank, one of the brothers,
loyal listener of the program.
Yes, he loves the show. But we were talking the other day, and he was talking about the cooking show. He goes, you know, one day I was watching your cooking show, and I posted a picture of our fish that we had done that day at the restaurant, and posted the picture, and you blocked me. He goes, now you probably didn't know who I was.
Oh,
at the
you
time.
blocked him on Facebook.
Yeah.
You don't want someone else.
I said, why would I block you? He goes,
Overshadowing
I don't know.
your
He
cooking.
says, I just posted a picture of the fish we did that day. It was a Chilean sea bass, and I said, here's our fish. And I don't think you knew who I was at the time, and you just blocked me.
Is that a new report? We don't know.
Well, this is a new report. I never told us before.
You don't want to see anyone else's
But
sea bass.
I told him, I said, that had to be a day where people are just trashing the fish and going nuts, and I just went on a blocking spree. And I thought you were probably just trying to show off your
Casualties of war.
There you go. You're blocked, too. But now I can't find them. I can't unblock them. I tried to unblock them. I can't find them.
So many.
So many blocks. How many have you blocked more from the fan page?
Not recently. Nobody's really been disgusting or distasteful or mean.
Look at you. Look at this guy, Doug.
Yeah, I only do it if it's something that is vile. I mean, you can disagree with me all the
Well,
time.
sure you can.
But when you just constantly, like Manistar, I'll bring that guy's name up every day. Manistar. Everybody's got him blocked. And if you don't have him blocked, he has you blocked. I don't even know why he's on the fan page.
Don't block him.
Nobody can see what he posts because he's got everybody blocked.
Building up his brand.
Block him.
But I don't block just to block. You can disagree with me all you want. Say you hate me on the show. I don't care.
Okay.
Just don't be mean-spirited.
Well, that's mean-spirited. They hate you. Block him.
No, that's just an
I hate you
opinion.
on the show, but
That's
I'm not
just
being
an
mean.
opinion. If you don't like me, that's fine. You can just say you're not my cup of tea. Great.
But
if you
nobody
say,
says that.
I don't
Nobody
listen.
says that anymore.
I've seen that. You're not my cup of tea. But if they say I don't listen to the show anymore because you suck. You're a terrible human being.
That's
blah,
more
blah,
like
blah.
what people
yeah,
say.
then, yeah, block.
That's how it works, Doug. That's how you get blocked.
Okay.
It's the Mungan St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Get involved, just like Biff has from Hawaii. 636-9004-TMA. Steve Schmidt Kia, North County phone lines. Text into the Engineer Design Facilities. Text inbox 314-881-TMA5 and email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Kind of fun to see what happened yesterday. The Twig Toilet got himself a W, and that puts him one back of Ellen Foley, who is tied with Kevin Miller, who is trying to win 3 straight months and really make a stand for potential Listener of the Year nominations. Danny Tanner's in there. Hey, Phil's in there as well. Send yours in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. This is the time to get your furnace maintenance. You go to designairservice.com, and the next thing you know, you click book now, and the next thing you know, they're coming over and they're getting it taken care of. Because guess what, Jack?
You got 2 days, buddy.
That's right, Iggy. That's exactly right. I see it getting to 78 today.
78 in the 70s tomorrow, and it's going to drop 40 degrees by the time you wake up. The
I
next morning.
see a high of 78 today, Doug. High of 39 on Saturday.
Oh, I don't like it.
How do you do?
But
We'll just snuggle up and watch the upset in Knoxville, Tennessee at 11 o'clock. That's all you need to do.
We have had a fantastic 2.5 months of weather here, though.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. August, September,
you can't complain
October, November, choice.
I can't believe it's been much nicer anywhere in the country than it's been here in September.
And we have the best fans in baseball.
That, too. Yeah. Best weather in America, and now the best fans in baseball on top of that.
I saw a forecast. I don't know if Design Air gets down to Houston, but the Houston Open this week starts tomorrow. They're going to have lows in the upper 20s this
Really?
weekend in Houston.
You can't golf in that.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and highs in the high 50s.
Yikes. Oh.
Yeah, they don't like playing golf in that.
No. It's no fun in cold.
Go to designairservice.com. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of TMA, Tim McKernan Show podcast. Doug is a client. I am a client. We both had our furnace maintenance checks done for the winter. Easy as can be, and Design Air is the company we work with. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. And while you're there, think about it. This Mr. Lick's Warson Woods Wacko War is heating up this morning. I didn't see it coming, candidly. Jeremy Rutherford will be with us at 8 o'clock, presented by Mark Hanna. In the meantime, Doug, it is going down here. Mr. Licks has responded to Warson Woods Wacko's plea for Jackson to block him from everything. Did I hear that right? That the Warson Woods Wacko's kid got a full ride to Mizzou? Yeah, not really that impressive considering they will give those out to Vianney grads.
No.
Plus, Mizzou's not expensive, so a full ride doesn't do much. That's from Mr. Licks. Doug, what does the University of Missouri cost?
It was $25,000 a year for school and room and board for my son, who got out like 4 years ago. So it's probably a little more than that now.
So you think it maybe $120,000 for 4 years?
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
But for Mr. Licks, I guess $120,000 he considers to be a rounding error.
Well, maybe he sent his kids to Wash U, where it's like $70,000 a year.
Or maybe
That's
Licks
so
don't,
bizarre. That
Licks
is
don't
so-
have any kids, does he?
Mr. Licks? I don't know what his family situation.
No, I just don't. Wish I did. I
Well,
don't.
you can't have kids if you can't get hard.
Well, you could adopt.
Well, true.
Hey, Boots, if Tim blocked everybody who was mean to him on the fan page, we would never, ever see him on the fan page. Grow some thicker skin. That's from an Uncle Cucker. Uncle Cucker.
Now I can tell just by the way you're pursing your lips. You're pursing your lips, so you're upset.
Yeah, Tim spends a lot of time on the fan page.
Doug Jackson and I were appointed moderators by the board, and we live that truth nightly.
Yeah.
Couldn't pay me to do that. I would
And so you have to read it every day?
Even if we were to block people, we could still see them.
Yep.
And that's the privilege that comes with the salary.
They keep on posting even after they've been blocked?
No, like if we just didn't want to read posts, we still would see them as admins.
Yeah. I do. I spend a lot of time like charting fan page
I didn't know you
posts.
charted.
Yeah. Like dog threads are up 60%.
Oh, I didn't. Did you know dog threads are up?
No.
People looking for vasectomy doctors is up 12%.
Just wait till people start using their vacation. Anybody know where a Starbucks is or a Lee's Chicken in Bally?
Lee's Chicken.
Lee's Chicken in Bally.
I mean, they just...
That's like asking if there's an ATM at Belle Reef.
Yeah, that was bad, yeah.
Lee's Chicken in Bally.
I went to that Lee's Fried Chicken in South City about 2 years ago.
Get some
and
gizzards?
It was no bigger. I think I was eating a pigeon. It was the tiniest little piece of chicken that I've ever seen in my life.
I'm blessed. You know, obviously I'm old money, so I do live
You're right next to that.
Yeah, I live a half a block away from Lee's.
Oh, do you?
You get some gizzards? They got gizzards.
I gotta say, it's pretty good.
Is that
Yeah, I used to go there all the
Mount
time.
Rushmore of fried chicken places, Plowhawk up.
Oh, wow.
Is Lee's the Cajun one?
No,
No.
That Popeye. Popeyes is number one.
Popeyes is number
Facts.
one.
Oh,
I would
correct.
I love Hodak's. It needs a little bit of seasoning, but I got Hodak's 2, Lee's Chicken 3, and man,
remember the fried chicken that they had at...
I'll go Porter's
at
5.
What was that guy
Or
who used
4.
to be a sponsor?
Friendlies?
Friendlies. Oh, they had
Danny
fried chicken.
too. Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
See, I like Porter's there in
Nicki Minaj mixed fusion Moscato.
God, he
That's
had
Friday.
voice.
Foot fetish Friday.
Once a year, I get a Kentucky Fried Chicken craving, and I'll just eat 5 or 6 thighs.
How about a
I gotta
whole
tell you, I'm
bucket?
currently in the mode of having that craving. I really am, and it's gonna happen. And I will experience even more self-loathing than normal within 10 minutes of completing the delicious dish.
You get original recipe or extra crispy?
I get original,
crispy.
and I get 10-piece, 5 thigh, 5 drumsticks.
Doug, do you like when somebody says 5 thigh or
No,
5 thigh?
I don't.
I like
You
that.
get
And
10 pieces you can eat? 10 pieces of
No,
fried
I
chicken?
won't eat it at
Oh,
once.
man. Have you ever gotten a bucket of fried
Yeah,
chicken
we used
from
to get
KFC?
those all the time.
The
when I was-
bucket's like wet.
Oh, yeah. By the time you're done, there's just a pile of grease at the bottom of
You
it.
never drink it.
That's what makes it good. No, I love cold Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh.
So I get enough to eat. I get enough so I can eat some the next day.
What does that smell like? The cold.
Delicious.
The
It
cold
smells like the
version.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
All right, fair enough.
See, Canton killed me with the KFC and Taco Bell. Like once a month would have like
Oh, the combo.
they'd be closed. No, they're two separate ones, but those two restaurants like scarred me. They'd be closed for like rats and like two of them both of them got condemned at one of them. Yeah, at the library. Go to Canton, hit that up. They just opened an Arby's, by the way. So it took me years after I left Canton to like eat a Taco Bell or a KFC, and it's actually KFC's pretty good. It's nothing to like write home about. I think the chicken's pretty damn good.
You almost have to judge them on an individual store basis because
You have to.
it depends on who's working there and
Yeah,
the
that's
process
true.
they're following.
Yeah,
You go in a nice part of town, and usually the fast food's pretty good.
Agreed.
last time I went, I always get, sometimes I like more thighs, so I'll get 6 thighs, 4 legs. Last time I went, I said, yeah, I'll take 10-piece bucket. I need 5 thighs and 5 legs. She goes, oh, you can't do that.
Much needed thighs.
So what do you mean I can't do that? She goes, no, you have to have some breast in there. I said, what do you mean I have to have breast in there? I don't like white meat.
Nobody doesn't like white meat.
She says, no, you have to mix and match. You have to have breast. I said, your breasts are more expensive than the dark meat, right? Yeah. Well, wouldn't you want to take the breast out and save money? How can you tell me I have to have the more expensive in there? I don't want breast. I said, I'm not this guy that says get your manager, but there's just somebody there you can ask? So somebody says, yeah, he can get 5 and 5. Okay.
She's just following orders.
If there's one place
she
I'd
wasn't
ask
following
him for a
orders.
manager, it's KFC.
Well, I didn't want the breast.
Sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles, and there's just a lot of things, the gravy, the coleslaw, that can be tampered with. I'm good.
Well, I'm watching. It's right in
Whatever I
front of
can
me.
order that you're going to give me, I'll
Sometimes it's better not to watch.
No, I can
Not to watch
see.
the
I can see what
process.
she's doing. I can see if she's going to take her bare hands and wipe it all over the chicken and put it.
Pathogen talk.
I have a great KFC store. If we can, do we have anything to get to? I didn't know.
I mean,
we got a full docket today. So you better save it.
We do actually have Jeremy Rutherford in 13 minutes.
That's fine. This is
so
very
we'll probably
quick.
break, Doug. What do you think? 7:55.
Something like that.
Yeah.
8 minutes. 8 minutes for a KFC story.
It'll be quicker than that. So, like, we have off-campus lunch in high school.
Sure.
So, like, me and my boy Reefer and Mace Dog would be, the full squad would be getting in my Corsica, my Chevy Corsica, and we would, roll up a blunt and then go into. This was the one time, like, we rarely wanted KFC, so we went in the drive-thru at KFC. And we're, 16, 17 years old, so we're kind of having 3 separate orders and, making it more confusing than what it really should be.
On purpose?
Not on purpose, just by just having 3 separate orders and eating individual items, dipping sauce in different sides. So we go there after 10 minutes. You could tell they're annoyed. And we pull up there, and they have the food, and you got 3 people around the person giving us the food, all smiling. And I'm thinking, like, with that, like, crazy, oh, I can't wait for them to eat this smile. Man, it was so.
What was on there?
It was terrible.
What'd they do to it?
Like, the chicken was half cold, but there was no gravy on the mashed potatoes, and you could feel in their eyes that, like, something happened to that meal.
They got you.
I was done. I can't do it.
You
It's like
didn't
a
eat it?
mental thing. I did not eat it, no. Not as great a story as I thought it would
Well,
be.
it
It didn't
wasn't
hit on
bad.
all cylinders, but
Never give the people a hard time in a fast food place because there's no telling what they're going to put in your
yes,
food.
sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Just be cooperative and order simple. Keep the order simple. You're at a fast food place.
Tim,
If they want to give you a number 1 or a number 2, you take that. You don't say, well, I want to mix and match this and that. You don't do that at a fast food place without anticipating problems.
Tim ran into that at White Castle when the guy goes,
Yeah, I had a craving, Doug, and I stopped by the White Castle right across from St. John Vianney.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 7:45, so I didn't feel like that was outside of the safe time frame. And he opened up his mic on the drive-through and went, "Welcome to White Castle. Can I help you?"
Oh, he was about to quit.
And at that moment, I'm thinking this might not happen. And then I placed the order. He goes, "What was that?" Like I had really bothered this gentleman, and I was the only car, within miles.
He didn't want the job. His parents made him go work.
And so I decided this probably isn't going to be as delicious of a meal as I had planned on. So I'm going to eject.
You just drove right through?
I just bolted like the wind.
Yeah.
Bolted like the wind.
As a fast food employee, like, I know inherently thinking, okay, I'm going to go after the rush. Go at 7:30, 8 o'clock if they close at 10. But the problem with that is being a worker, you're in that mode from like 5:30 to 7. That's when you're like crazy busy, maybe even 5 to 7. And you're in that zone. But after like that, you kind of get that little break, that like sigh of relief.
Yeah.
And so every car after that, you're like, oh my gosh.
What could
you
you
got to
possibly
clean up,
want?
you got to do it. Yeah. We just got done getting slaughtered. What do you want? So it's almost best just to go when they're packed because it's just muscle memory at that point. The time goes by really fast for them.
Really.
It's good food for thought.
I think I've told this Dairy Queen story before, but
Love to hear it again.
I wanted a hot fudge sundae, but I wanted a
Don't
big,
say Sunday. Do not say Sunday.
but I wanted a bigger
Sunday.
one. I wanted a bigger one because they do have extra large cups.
Yeah.
But they just don't serve it like a Blizzard.
Well, they should.
They won't give you an extra large. It only comes in large.
Yeah.
So I said, last week I was in there, I asked for a hot fudge sundae, and they gave me a Blizzard. And I said, I don't want the Blizzard. So can you just do just a little thing of ice cream, then some hot fudge, more ice cream, hot fudge, more ice cream, hot fudge, and just put it in the biggest cup you have and charge me whatever you have to charge.
That seems reasonable. Yeah.
They said, when did this happen last week? I said, I don't know when it happened, but they made it a Blizzard. I don't want you to mix it all up. I want a hot fudge sundae, but I just want the biggest cup you have. And you could tell, I said, okay, we'll find whatever. We'll just get a big one for you. So I get to the thing, and I see it's the big cup, and I see the lid on top, and I can see the ice cream and the hot fudge. Perfect. Pay for it, get home, open it up. They took one of those little Dixie cup things, the smallest ice cream you can get, and put that on top of the big cup. And then put a lid on, like it looked like the whole thing was hot fudge. It was an empty big cup with a little thing of ice cream on it. I took it back and I said, do you see what you did here?
Yeah.
Well, maybe somebody was just having fun. Well, you had fun at my expense.
Yeah.
You charged me like $9 for this thing.
For a
And you-
tiny
and you
little
put a
Dixie cup
little
of ice cream? Did they think you wouldn't complain about it?
Well, I almost didn't go back. I was going to say, I'm not going to go back. Screw this. They screwed with me. They got mad at me. But, yeah, I went back for this one. We're sorry, sir.
That's another lesson. Don't get in arguments with the fast food people. You're going to lose.
You should see my
You're either not
face.
going to get your food, or there's going to be something on the food, or you're going to get overcharged for the food. It's not worth it.
I said, this bastard. He got me. But I did go back.
Yeah.
It was just a simple request. You make hot
Keep it
fudge
simple.
sundaes.
Order
I
right
just
off the
wanted
menu.
a bigger one, that's all.
Don't get fancy. Order right off the menu. Exactly what they want to sell you.
Well, anyway.
A couple of nice stories, fellas.
Really nice,
Yeah.
Doug. Really, really nice.
Sorry, Tim.
It's 7:52 in St. Louis. You are listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After. We're in the Michelob Ultra Studios. Friends of the Feather, if you are interested in a sound story for the holiday season, book now. Use the promo code TMA to get 10% off when you're checking out, either for a gift certificate or to schedule. I have one coming up following Balloon Party, and you can schedule them now open on Fridays as well. So schedule for the holidays or just get a gift certificate and use the promo code TMA at checkout to get 10%. And now you are getting a gift that your family will love, and love not just this year, but for years to come, as either your story, your parents' story, your grandparents' story, whomever, is saved forever. Doug does the interview, I do the interview, Learn does the interview, Jackson does it. Your pick, mysoundstory.com, and you can get 10% off right now for the holidays by using promo code TMA. It's mysoundstory.com. Jackson, could you tell the people about the Wolf Pack?
Oh.
More than happy to, Tim. I want to talk to you today about Trish Wolf and the Wolf Pack. You know, you've gotten to know Trish with her Tuesdays with Trish. The Wolf Pack is not only knows how to have fun, but they are experts in the STL real estate market, and they check all the boxes. 5 pillars, Doug. First pillar is experience, a team of agents with over 20 years of real estate sales experience. Second pillar is expertise, thousands of homes sold in the Mound City proper and the metro area. Pillar 3, success. They're an award-winning Zillow Premier team. Pillar number 4 is strategy. Proven processes that take you from planning to close and beyond. And the final and most important pillar is maximum return on investment. The Wolfpack looks at each individual situation and structures a commission plan tailored to max your ROI. All of this while sponsoring TMA. Even if you're planning for 2023 or if your plans are a little up in the air, give Trish a text or call today to begin an informal preliminary discussion. It's never too early. Reach out today for a no-pressure consultative meeting to discuss your goals. Have a real estate-related question? Text Trish at 314-807-WOLF. It couldn't be easier. Join the pack. They've got your back.
There it is. And Munganess, St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota, sponsor of our 7 o'clock hour here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. And Jamie Burkhardt announced it. You should take advantage of it between now and January 3rd. Get 0.99% financing for 36 months on certified Acura cars at Munganess St. Louis Acura. New cars continue to be a challenge at both stores, as is the case throughout the automotive industry. However, if you place an order with stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com, Munganess will get you the car you want. Service remains their number one priority with our customers. All makes, all models. It doesn't matter if you got your car from Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota or not. It doesn't matter. stlouisacura.com. AltonToyota.com. Email me, T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com, and I will be happy to connect you with Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, or Peter Munganess. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota. All right, coming up here in 5 minutes at the top of the hour, Jeremy Rutherford with us on the State of the Union that is the St. Louis Blues. Doug, the Blues playoff chances, do you want to take a guess on what percentage it is?
Oh, I'd say right at the moment it'd be about 2%.
12%.
12. That's better
It was
than I would've
54% at the start of the season. It is now 12%. We will talk about what they can do, what he thinks they will do, what has caused the problems. Your questions for JR coming up as well. Send them in. 314-881-TMA5. Jeremy Rutherford next, presented by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Check out listener rewards on the new TMA mobile app. Watch the show live on the TMA studio cams. Find it at TMASTL.com. Get the podcast on the TMA app. Download it now.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
You're hearing TMA all day on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis, featuring the Ryan Kelly Morning After, live from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then a full show replay from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., followed by the best of TMA from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., and another same-day replay starting at 10 p.m. Find the full schedule at TMASTL.com. Brought to you by Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com, the most efficient mortgage process you'll ever experience.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever. The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
And it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
Your favorite spirits like Hendrick's Gin and Monkey Shoulder Vatted Walt Whiskey are now available in premium, ready-to-serve cocktails thanks to Batch and Bottle. Try the Lazy Old Fashioned, Rhubarb Cosmo, Gin Martini, or Scotch Manhattan. Simply chill, pour, and garnish. Each bottle serves 4 to 5 cocktails, so grab a few for your next party and spend less time in the kitchen and more time in the conversation. Just look for the black bottle with the gold cap. That's Batch and Bottle Premium Ready-to-Serve Cocktails. Batch and Bottle Premium Pre-Batch Cocktails, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc., New York, New York.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's sports talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app.
Doug Vaughn here alongside Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Ryan, rates are high, but you're still finding a way to get people a good mortgage. How do you do it?
Yeah, we work really hard for our clients. We watch the markets, we watch the rates. They swing a quarter point a day some days right now. And that's why you need an expert to lock you in at the right time. And then we have these incredible programs like our interest rate rewind, where for the first year, your rate will be 2 full points lower. The second year, a point lower. And then year 3, it goes to the current rate. Thinking about buying a house? Maybe a refinance? Got questions? Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The best authentic Southwestern cuisine awaits you at Santa Fe Bistro in Creve Coeur. Open for lunch and dinner with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 6, and Saturdays, 2:30 to 4. Daily drink and entree specials and 72 tequilas, as well as a vast selection of beer on draft and by the bottle. Wear a jersey or team gear for Blues and NFL games and get a free drink with the purchase of an entree. Nothing says authentic Southwestern cuisine quite like Santa Fe Bistro, west of 270 on Olive. Same plaza as the old TGI Fridays location. Full menu at SantaFeBistroMO.com.
Hi, this is Trish Wolf from the Wolfpack at Worth Clark Realty. And the home selling market might look a little bit uncertain right now, but if you've got the Wolfpack on your team, that's going to make all the difference. We're going to help you with staging and tell you what kind of upgrades to make or to avoid. We're going to put our social media to work for you and get you your maximum exposure for that home. So while home values are holding and inventory's still low, let's jump on board and get that house listed. And if you're waiting until spring, it's never too early to get started with that planning. So give me a call today at 314-807-WOLF, or you can always find us at trishwolf.com. Join the pack. We've got your back.
Nothing says barbecue like Naven's Barbecue. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a family gathering, Naven's Barbecue has an extensive menu for any palate. From slow-smoked Texas-style brisket to award-winning smoked chicken wings. All Naven's Barbecue is wood-smoked, and all their meat is from local and regional farmers. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook for daily specials and holiday meal packages. Stop by their location at the intersection of Grand and Arsenal in South City today for the best barbecue in the STL. Online at navensbbq.com. That's NAVINSBBQ.com.
This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago and they still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
St. Louis Blues ain't here to fake it. Real deal, now it's time to take it. Sharpen up the blades, blood, sweat, and tears over decades. Went from last place in the whole league to the best in the West on the dig deep. It's game time, let's light them up. Boston Bruins ain't backing up. Media says watch out for Rask. Binnington is up for the task. Load your players with Gloria. I can feel a sense of euphoria. One more round, that's what's up. St. Louis Blues are coming for the cup.
Doug, the Blues are indeed coming for the cup.
Yeah, they really got it rolling now. Got himself a goal last evening.
And
Not
you
much
like
else.
what you saw there?
I didn't see any of it.
You still like Carrie Underwood?
I was watching the election results. I did not watch the hockey game.
I'm going to play Gloria, but I don't think this team deserves that kind of beat.
No.
Let's get to the bottom of the whole thing. Presented by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. He joins us every Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to talk it over with Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic. JR, good morning.
Good morning. Did Eminem has a rap on the Blues now?
Yeah, Marshall Mathers cut that in 2019, and he's doing a remix for the Cup run in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, no, he sees some things he likes when you can go up against the Patrick Waugh of the Flyers and get a good one there from the
Nice.
captain.
Yeah. Felt good.
JR, wonderful story here on The Athletic this morning. Eye-opening. I do recall when the, how do you pronounce this gentleman's name? Dom
Yeah, just give it a whirl. Just Lecision.
Yeah, I was going to go with Lecision. That's what I was going to go with. Oh, nice.
That works.
The Blues projection for the start of the season, 92 points. That was not met with kindness by some Blues fans. And the Blues finished with 109 last year, so that struck me as a pretty material drop. And you talked it over with him following last night's debacle, or I guess in advance of last night's debacle. And he said the Blues' playoff chances have gone from 54% at the start of the season, which wasn't all that high, really, to now 12%. What did he have to say about what he saw going into the season and how it has played out here in the first few weeks of what has been a stunningly bad start to the 2022-2023 campaign?
Yeah, now a little below 12. So I don't know if Jackson wants to throw a guess out. After another loss, what is it, down to 10?
Jackson's covering the New Orleans Pelicans exclusively at this point.
That's right.
Yeah. No, Blues Nation not happy with Dom in the preseason when he came out with that projection that the Blues had about a 54% chance and that they'd be a 92.2 team after putting up 109 last year. So I always hear from the Blues fans about Dom. Now you have a situation where they get off to the great start, 3-0. Everybody's excited. They're telling me to call Dom and tell him to stick it. And then now the Blues lose 8 in a row, and things aren't going that well. So I did talk to Dom. He did send me some stuff that I put in the article. And actually, he basically says they're better than this. So I don't know if he's trying to get back on the Blues fans' good side or what, Tim, but he did say that what he looks at is how good they should be in terms of 5-on-5 numbers, so on and so forth. He feels like last year they overplayed their 5-on-5 ability, and also they were so great on special teams. It created a little bit of a facade. So you got to give them credit when they do that like they did last year, but he says this is a little bit more like reality this year.
If you search for a silver lining, they've lost 4 at home and they've lost 4 on the road, so that's a nice balance.
Yeah, that's real nice. The only thing is last night they lost to a goalie who had exactly as many wins in the league as Daddy Padre.
That was his first one? Oh.
Yeah, well, at least this guy played.
And the troubling thing, too, is nobody seems to have any answers. It's not like, well, this one guy's killing us, or these 2 guys, or this line's killing us, or we don't have a goalie. It's everything right now, isn't it?
Yeah, Duggar, it's incredible to watch. It really is, because you look at this team and everything is going wrong. You can't score. You can't defend the net. The goalies have played pretty well, I think. That's probably the one silver lining. And now the special teams, which were so great last year, have been horrific. And you're right. Nobody seems to have the answer. You talk to the players for a couple of weeks, they don't have the answer. You talk to Craig Berube, and he's trying to figure out. He doesn't know why. I go back on my tape and listen to how many times people said, yeah, we don't know. You could make a penny off every time. You'd be pretty rich. And then you have Doug Armstrong come out, and he doesn't have the answers. So I think if you lose 5, 6, 7 in a row, that's not too heard of. But when you start to lose 8, some things that you didn't think were going to come into play, whether it be letting go of staff or making that big trade in November, I think all that stuff's in play when we've seen the team play like it has here lately.
Jeremy Rutherford is our guest every Wednesday here, and you are welcome to send in your questions. Doug, it seems like I'm getting 2-part questions for him.
Shouldn't.
Kind of surprises me. 314-881-TMA5, major recommendation for the column JR posted on theathletic.com this morning. And this gets us to, I think, where a lot of Blues fans are at this moment. What are the options? And that is highlighted here, and you say there are 6, but 3 of them are not likely. So, JR, I will let you go through that with our audience, because this is some intriguing possibility here.
Yeah, I just tried to sit down yesterday with this little brain and try to think of what the options could be, and this is going into last night's game. So you're thinking there's a chance that they beat Philly, come home, you beat San Jose, and you have a chance, and then they lose to Philly. So I think these options are a little more applicable than even yesterday when I sat down. But 3 of them, to me, they don't mean anything. You could sit and do nothing. That's not going to go over well.
You could call up a couple minor leaguers. There just isn't enough talent down there, Tim, that is going to come up and help this mess right now. Also, you could make a trade or two to bolster the team as it currently sits. But if you're Doug Armstrong and you're looking at this team, what faith would you have in the team to try and move some money and make a move to make this team better? So to me, it boils down to three, and it could be the coaching change with Craig Berube, but that's what Doug Armstrong came out a week ago and said that's not going to happen. Could it be somebody on the staff? It could. Sometimes they would take the fall in a situation like this. But then you have the two biggest ones, and the two biggest ones are trade your unrestricted free agent assets, and the two big ones we all know are O'Reilly and Tarasenko. But it's November. I talked to a couple scouts yesterday, and they said teams aren't making trades for these guys, even though we like those players, and we tell our bosses, yeah, these are players who could help us. Teams just aren't making trades for those guys in November. And then the biggest thing is the assets that the Blues have. You're talking about guys with long-term contracts, whether it be 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and moving some of those guys to kind of change the outlook and the future, really, of this franchise. But again, that's a big ask, and it takes a lot of work to do and get done. And once again, it's something that teams don't do in November.
As you pointed out, Armstrong said last week that Berube was not the problem and he was safe. But at some point, they're going to have to consider that, aren't they? I mean, he's not good forever. If this season is just continues to play out like this, they're going to have to at least look at that, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think what Doug came out and said is, look, this guy can coach. We know he can coach. And what he didn't say was that what we all know is he gave Craig Berube a 3-year contract extension this past February, and this is the first year of that deal. And it's about $3.5 million per year. So, I mean, you're talking about $7 million, $8 million to tell the coach to go away. I don't know that they're to the point yet where they want to let go of staff, but you can look at a situation like Mike Van Ryn. He's in charge of the defense. The defense has not played well. Is all this his fault? By no means no. The answer is no. But if they're going to make some change, and these trades are hard to make, whether they're the trading of the player like a guy who's got 3 or 4 years left on the deal, or it's a unrestricted free agent like Tarasenko or O'Reilly, if those are hard to make, what do you do? And if you're not going to fire the head coach, they're going to have some change at some point. And so I could see Doug Armstrong maybe making a move like that.
Jeremy, what's the locker room situation? I mean, when you're winning, everything's hunky-dory, but when you're losing, do you see any players in there that are gruffing and are upset with other players, any backstabbing, things like that?
Well, I reported last week, Iggy, that I think there was a little bit that kind of circled around the situation with Jordan Kyrou. Here's a guy who, you take a risk on a player when you sign him to a long-term deal at age 24, but you also got to feel good about his game. And so the Blues sign him to a $65 million deal. It doesn't kick in until next year, but then this year you expect him to come out and play like he did last year. And I think there probably are a couple players, in fact, I know there are, that are getting on to Jordan Kyrou. Come on, you need more effort. Be more responsible. You're a future big-time player for this organization. Let's see it. And he's making, like I said, $65 million starting next year. So I think that ruffled a little bit of feathers. But, to be honest with you, we're not in the locker room to the point where you can see some of that stuff. You can see the frustration with certain players. I never pretend to think that, we know the true feelings. But, yeah, Doug Armstrong came out and said it last week himself, that there are some players in that locker room, Iggy, who they're saying, I can't believe this is happening to me, or I'm not part of the problem. And he said that's why he had to come out and talk about this, because he's seeing that in the locker room himself.
Kyrou's a minus 17 right now. Just looking, the record for that is minus 82 in 1 year by Bill Mickelson of the Washington back in the 70s. He's not a threat to break that record, is he?
At this pace, he is. He is. And, it's something where, so you know about the teammates that are getting on him. You know that the head coach is getting on him. And I'm not here to pick on one guy. It seems like every time I tweet about Jordan Kyrou, people say that you're using him as the scapegoat. We certainly watch the games and see this. This is a team-wide situation going on right now. But Jordan Kyrou, even after all these people addressing him, you still see some lackadaisical plays. So I think he's been better the past couple games. Last night looked like he was getting back on defense a little bit better, but these aren't things that we should be praising him for. Those are things that should be expected.
Now, JR, it's been over 50, and I have to bring this up because we are deep enough into the season to where if they do decide to rebuild, now again, I think we're 20-some-odd games away from that, potentially. The Blues haven't had a first-round pick. They had the first overall pick in 2006, Eric Johnson. Connor Bedard is considered to be that generational talent. What are the odds that they do a rebuild to maybe try and, I wouldn't say tank, but secure at least the top 3 pick, maybe to try to, weasel away to get to kind of a generational talent? I know that's not on their mind, but how soon will a rebuild, if it continues, will happen?
Well, it's a good question. I just don't know that it's in the blood of owner Tom Stillman and Doug Armstrong. And I realize that's, in sports these days, that's just reality. That does happen. There are teams that do that, but you look at the sustained success that they've had under Doug Armstrong for so long. I can't imagine that they would say, hey, let's go after the player, especially because you have a lottery. So even though you finish with a poor record doesn't mean you're going to get the player. So that's definitely one part of it. But the biggest thing to me is the fact that you look at this roster and there are so many aging veterans, 29, 30, 31, who have 3, 4, 5 more years left on that deal. So if you go into a tank mode, you're talking about a situation where it's going to take 2, 3, 4 years to become a better team and to get those younger players like a Bedard into the system, and if you even get them. And then by that time, you're talking about a Schenn, Krug, Falk. Those guys are 33, 34. You could say, move them. Well, how easy is that going to be to move these guys at that age with these contracts and on the back 9 of their career? So it's a good thought, and it's be cool to see him play in St. Louis. But I just think for the Blues to go into that sort of transition would be going against everything they've been saying for the last couple of years.
Who do you think is their best player right now?
I think that in terms of how they're playing right now, our best player on the roster.
I guess who's playing the best right now?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that Tarasenko's been playing. I know he hasn't been scoring lately, but to me, he's hustling. He's up and down the ice. I would say Schenn, and he's had a few turnovers, glaring turnovers, but I think you talk about dropping the gloves last night. You talk about scoring a goal a couple nights ago to get them going, effort-wise, and then also leadership in the locker room. And then I guess you'd have to tip your cap to Binnington if we're talking about goalies too, the way he's playing. But I guess if I had a thought on this, it would probably be Braden Schenn, just what he's bringing.
Yeah, I agree with that. JR, let me go to some of the texters' questions. This one's for Iggy. What the hell is gruffing, Iggy?
Just made up a word.
That's from TJ. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let's see.
Next one's for Doug.
No, this one actually is for AJR. How safe is Chief's job at this point? I'm not saying it's his fault, but all coaches eventually lose the room and the message becomes stale. Q and Sutter were fired from the Hawks and Kings, so no one is safe once the team tunes them out. That's from Nutsack Jim.
Oh, come on, Nutsack.
Well, Nutsack, here's the situation is the way I see it. Last night I had my good friend Luke Korak from the NHL.com. He was over and having a few slices of Emo's Pizza, and I looked at him. I said, they can't fire Chief tomorrow, can they? And we kind of thought about it. Here's the bottom line in my mind. Imagine what it looks like if Doug Armstrong comes out and fires Craig Berube today, literally 10 days after he said he's not the problem and these players are the problem. So I realize GMs can change course. It happens all the time. We saw it a few years ago with Mike Yeo. But how many times has Doug Armstrong come out and said it's the players and eventually he has to let go of the coach? So I don't want to ignore it and think that it's not a possibility. But at the same time, I think in this situation, Doug, I mean, if he comes out 3 games after saying Craig Berube's not the problem and makes a change, then I think it speaks to a bigger issue within the organization.
I guess one of the huge problems you have in the big picture is if you're this bad this early and fans stop showing up, and then you're not going to get the playoff revenue either, all of a sudden you have a hard time making the payroll probably at some point.
Yeah, and you know, they're secured, I would believe, with the payroll, but I think that you're right, and I think it's just unfortunate what's happened with this organization when you talk about COVID and now you talk about the situation that they're in, because they finally win that Stanley Cup, you have a chance to capitalize on that fandom, then you have the COVID, so it's shut down, and now you get back to these sellouts, and you could potentially be going through a transition period. So, yeah, the Blues, for all the work that they've put into this and all the good things they've done to put this organization back where it belongs, they certainly aren't reaping a lot of the rewards in terms of bringing the fans in, if that's indeed the direction that they go.
Some of the guys here were putting some of the blame on you and the other media for the team's problems. Do you accept some of that criticism?
Good for you, Doug.
I see that about 200 times a day on Twitter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do accept a lot of the blame here because we're probably, if I can run through my Twitter feed right now, let's see, not asking the right questions, not hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too many
a lot of it's on you.
Yeah.
Man, the Athletics going to trade you to Montreal.
Hey, I'll go there.
Yeah, JR, you see this team day in, day out, and it's not just one problem. But you still hear people saying, well, the problem was they didn't sign Perron or they didn't get Kachuk. How different of a team would it be with one of those two guys?
I think extremely different, especially with Matthew Kachuk, and I'm with Tim. I think there was an idea, a plan to have him. I think part of him wanted to be here. I think that Florida, I said it all along, I reported it for a year, that Florida was high up on his list. I don't know that Florida even knew that they had a good chance. But when that came about, he wanted to make that happen, and they did. And I think the Blues, in turn, had to pivot a little bit. Not saying they were guaranteed to get him or thought they were guaranteed, but just had to pivot a little bit, and that's where the big Kyrou extension comes in. They may still have done that, but it would have been a lot more difficult if you're paying Matthew Kachuk $9 million. So I think it'd be a lot better looking with Matthew Kachuk, and I think they'd be a better team with David Perron. And that's not a headline. I think everybody knows that. But what he brought to the team culture-wise, and the agents that I talked to yesterday, I said, how much do they miss David Perron? They said, yeah, good player, getting up there a little bit, 34, 35, but was still producing. But a couple of the agents said specifically what he brings to the locker room, the culture, things like that. And also, something that you didn't ask, but I'll throw this in there. Jim Montgomery, the assistant coach, he's leading Boston right now. They beat the Blues the other night. They're, 11-2? He's a guy behind the scenes who was real positive in terms of the environment and did a good job. I think they miss him too. So it's not any one thing, but I think there's two or three things that you can certainly bring up.
Random question here, but was Florida more motivated because of their early exit from the playoffs after having a hell of a regular season, or was that irrelevant to their pursuit of Matthew Kachuk?
I think it's relevant. I think that, but they didn't know, Tim, that I think Matthew wanted to go there as much as he wanted to go there. And so I think they would have been fine coming back with Huberdeau and Weegar, the players they traded to Calgary, to get Matthew Kachuk. But, yeah, you lose in the first round, terrible loss. Hey, what can we do to maybe mix things up? That maybe opened their eyes to doing it. But when all of a sudden Matthew Kachuk says, hey, I want to come to South Florida, then I think that changes everything.
Yeah, that's I mean, I could be off, but it sounds like we have the same theory that the Blues were kind of basing their offseason on a belief anyway that was going to be the piece, and it was not just going to be a piece to fix 2023, but it was going to be a long-term piece. And when it didn't happen, there just didn't seem to be a plan B, and here we are.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The only thing I'll say, covering Doug Armstrong for 12 years, is he knows that things probably aren't going to happen the way you envision. He's told me that on several occasions. Hey, you're thinking about this, but you're also thinking about B, C, and D, and you're just ready to go. So I agree with you, and I think the premise is right. I don't think that Doug Armstrong said, hey, it's going to be Matthew Kachuk or else, and this is definitely going to happen. Look, we've got the inside track on Matthew. I think, probably 50-50, 60-40, maybe he thought it was going to happen, but he was ready to do whatever he needed to do if that didn't work out.
There it is. Jeremy Rutherford, brought to you by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies every Wednesday here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After JR. Appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was going to tell a Chick-fil-A story earlier.
Oh, Doug, would you like to hear a Chick-fil-A story?
Absolutely. Love to hear one, yeah.
Well, I was going to say the story wasn't that great. Now I won't tell it. It's not great. But then Plow told that KFC story, and I'm like, oh, they don't have to be great.
No,
Thank you.
no. Anything will do.
Anything's fine.
I really hyped mine up, and it was nothing.
No, I just, being a bigger guy, you got to have bacon on everything, right? And so I get the breakfast sandwich and ask to add bacon, and They charge me for it, but I open it up. There's no bacon. Well, this happens 2 or 3 times, and I finally park my truck, go inside. We're talking Arnold, not too far from the Arnold Walmart, so I'm going in there acting, big and bad, like, all right, where's my bacon? And so finally, the 3rd time it happens, I go in there and I talk to the manager, and I guess he took care of it and said, hey, sorry about that. But the next time I go through the drive-thru, I get to the drive-thru, and the lady looks at me and tells everybody, oh, it's him. He's here. He's here.
That's when you
oh,
pull
it's him.
Just give you your bacon. How hard is that? I'm so tired of these people.
So here's my pile imitation. Not a great story there, but it's a story.
It was
nice. There
It
you
was
go.
okay.
I liked it, actually. I didn't know about having
anecdote.
bacon. Yeah.
Any Chick-fil-A story is a good story. JR, thank you so much. As always, fine, sir.
Thanks, boys.
All right. Jeremy Rutherford, brought to you by Mark Hanna. You got to get your finances in order, get them taken care of with Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, who presents Jeremy Rutherford every Wednesday here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. The number is 314-889-0503. You go online at evergreenstl.com. If you're in your 20s or 30s and do not have a financial advisor, what I want to do right now, Doug, is I want to, with my verbal hands.
Pincers.
Pincers, yeah, because I have these little T-Rex arms, because I have the tiniest of reach.
Sure.
I want to shake you. I want to shake you. I want to shake you to full release. And what I need you to do is pay attention to me.
Okay.
You're leaving dollars on the table, and you're complicating things long-term for what you think is more net money short-term. Get a financial advisor, and the financial advisor that I would tell you about, who I know is a really quality human being, who a number of the people on the dais work with, a number of my friends work with, is Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. What I wouldn't do, Doug, to go back to 22, 23 years old, keep taking Propecia, number one.
Yeah, that's first.
Begin the gaping process a little earlier.
Get the leg extension surgery in China.
Would have done that in China. Would have done that in China. And then have a financial advisor. Those are the 4 things.
That's a Mount Rushmore.
Propecia, gaping procedure, leg extensions, and financial advisor.
Right.
Man, that'd be so funny. You're in China, and they go, "Oh, we could do both at the same time." So
Yeah,
you're
let's knock out a variety of
You're
things.
getting gape from below while also getting your legs stretched.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting stretched everywhere in my lower quadrant. You like that lower quadrant?
I don't. It's not a quad. It's almost a half.
You're casted up from the hip down to complete full cast.
And you come out and your legs are
And
twice
all of a
as big as
sudden,
a
I'm
trunk.
6'2", I have a full head of hair. Somehow, maybe they can put some silly putty on the left side of my head so it's not concave. And the next thing you know, I look like Billy D. Williams.
Well.
And on top of all of it, you're gaping.
Exactly.
You wanted to gape?
God, can you imagine the recovery process for the gaping?
You'd be laid up for a while.
Oh, Bella Danger deals with it. 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. It's Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. We are in the Appliance Discounters 8 o'clock hour, in the market for a new home appliance. Our 8 o'clock sponsor, Appliance Discounters, has what you need. Shop major brands like GE. Appliance Discounters have drastically lowered prices on installs, with select dishwashers being free. They also have huge GE rebates. It's Appliance Discounters. Send your emails in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com, and that comes your way at 9:45. Ellen Foley leading, but there's Danny Tanner. Lost to Kevin Miller in a one-game playoff. There's Kevin Miller. He won the bunt of September, the bunt of October. Can he make it 3 bunts in a row? There's Twink Toilet. What an email yesterday. And, hey, Phil is in there. Some really nice names on the leaderboard here. Fun to see for the November Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Well, the news is out on Eli Drinkwitz's contract extension. Gabe, Doug, you know Gabe.
Sure. Oh,
with PowerMizzou.com, regular here on TMA and Balloon Party, had put in the, you like this, Freedom of Information request. You like that? It's what it is.
FOI.
To get the contract information on Saturday. They got it this morning.
Is that what they did with yours?
No, that was just, I do know what happened on that.
Screenshot and emailed.
Well, it happened, and we move on.
Hey, I got the Freedom of Information Act here. I need McKern's
It doesn't work for private individuals.
No, I think state
But in my
employees.
case, I was lucky enough to have it work and still have it be misreported. But
Yeah,
either
state
way,
employees, you
digressing,
find
in this case, what the colonel really wanted to see was the buyout clause. Because you can promise millions and millions and millions of dollars for years and years and years, but what is the buyout? And that is what he was anxious to hear. So here's the bottom line: is Eli Drinkwitz is going to be making $6 million next year to be the head coach at Missouri. But the buyout is a little convoluted, and I'm reading from what the Colonel just wrote, and I've been texting with Gabe to make sure I understood it properly so I could report it to our audience here and on 101 ESPN as accurately as possible. He says the buyout's a little convoluted. Under the previous deal, they'd have owed him $5.6 million if they fired him after next year. Now they will owe him at least $6 million. It's not a huge difference, but it's still more than they were on the hook for before. The big language in this is the mitigation. Under most contracts, they'd owe him 50% of the buyout up front. That would have normally equated to something like $11 million next year, and now it's $6 million. And that remaining $11 million that they'd owe him is dollar for dollar off season by the next job he gets. In other words, if they owe him $11 million over 4 years, but he gets a job for that amount, they're not going to owe him anything beyond the $6 million up front. If he makes it to 2024, this is a good deal for Missouri in theory. If he doesn't, they owe him a little more money than they would have owed him before. The difference being $5.6 million and $6 million. That's Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou. So what is Gabe's analysis of this whole thing? Here is what the Colonel has to say. Colonel, hitting the hole as he does oh so well. He really just...
He's a hole hitter.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Everybody says, why now? If we're being honest, I would agree with you. I would not have done it. If Drinkwitz and Sexton were coming to me saying, we only have 3 years left on the deal, we need security, et cetera, I'd have said something like this: win something.
Mm-hmm.
Pittman and Heupel and others have gotten contract extensions because they win. All we've got is players rivals says are going to be good. We want some proof. If that meant Drinkwitz wanted to threaten to go to some lesser program, I'd have said, go do it. But let's be honest, nobody was banging down the door to hire him this year.
No.
Basically, Missouri did this because this is how everyone operates. They throw money at something before it's justified as proof that they care about football. As long as everyone else does it, you have to do it too. It's a circle. As I posted in another thread, my belief, based on everything that I have heard, is this was curator-driven. They hired Drinkwitz. They've always viewed him as their coach. He has good relationships with people in important places. If it works, fine. Everybody's good. But make no mistake, it has to work next year. The Gasparilla Bowl next year isn't going to impress anybody.
Tampa's nice, though.
That is from the Colonel.
Yeah.
So there it is. That is the Colonel's analysis of the situation.
Well, at least it makes some sense now as to why they would sign him to an extension. Makes a little bit of sense. They're not throwing a ton more money at him.
Extensions mean nothing, but I think the optic of, like, you know, I mean, the South Carolina game, they played well, but you struggle through Vandy. You talk about the miscues at Auburn. I just don't know if it was the time. And then you lay an egg at Kentucky. Again, this is hindsight, that game. But I just don't get – I think Gabe nailed it on the head is why. Because you can use Pittman and Heupel as an example, but they're winning. You know, they're both been in the top 25. I mean, Heupel has a top 10 team, and, you know, they've done it in 2 or 3 years. There's a huge difference between what Drinkwitz has done.
I guess what you have to hope is if he can identify a defensive coordinator that can turn that side of the ball around and become quite dominant at times, perhaps he could find someone to do that to the offense and you'd be a different team.
Well, the good news is, Doug, exactly what you're thinking, is they have allocated additional dollars for the coaching staff. And they're not just going to throw another $1 million at the coaching staff to increase the salaries of the people on the current payroll. In other words, they've allocated dollars for him to hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know how, and you know, I recognize that for a portion of Missouri fans, they view me as either anti-Missouri, which is amazing, but whatever. I recognize that it's theirs, so perception becomes reality, and or having something against Eli Drinkwitz. My obligation, my belief, hosting shows, is to tell you what I honestly think. And I just have not bought in. And that's where I am. But I want him to be successful because I am a Missouri fan. I don't know what he has done to this point from a wins and losses standpoint that would get you excited. But for Missouri. Missouri's a different situation than a hell of a lot of other programs, I would say, than the majority of the programs in the SEC at this moment. What I wanted to see this year was progress. And last year, I suppose if you wanted to focus on wins and losses, I understand. I don't blame people for that. But what was alarming to me about last year was the way they were either blown off the field by Tennessee in particular. A&M, I felt like Drinkwitz was managing the game to keep the score and the difference down, and how horrific the defense was. Those were the things that really bothered me. Well, this year that hasn't happened. The K-State loss was terrible. But since then, that defense has kept them in every game. And yes, I realize the wins are against, a team that was in the top 25, who I think even hardcore Missouri fans would probably say is probably not one of the best 25 teams in the country. But you can't, discount what they did against Georgia. And you can't discount, I recognize Auburn is way down, but that was there for a win. Kentucky was there for a win. Florida in the fourth quarter was there for a win. I recognize you have to close them out because Vanderbilt was there for a loss. If we're going to do this, was there for a win. You also acknowledge Vanderbilt. But have they made progress? And my answer is yes, I see progress. And if he is the CEO of the program, I think he deserves credit for the defense, even if he's not the defensive coordinator. Because if the offense was being successful, and he wasn't by definition having the offensive coordinator, even though he's the head coach, there's no offensive coordinator, he certainly would be getting credit. He's the CEO of the program. So I didn't expect great things this year. I expected to see progress. And sometimes in college football, it's viewed more about the win or loss differential than actually winning and losing games at some points. And last year, that's why it was so alarming, is they were getting blown off the field. This year, this team could legitimately be, at this moment, a 7-win team, which is kind of crazy considering what their record actually is. I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying they've been in position to be. And that really wasn't the case at all last year. So, and I'm talking about at this point in the season. So from that standpoint, I see progress. I was stunned that they gave him an extension, but in doing, some semblance of diligence and communicating with people to have a better understanding of it. So much of this is about recruiting, about optics, the key being the buyout, and the buyout exposed them to, not even 10% more money. It's $400,000 on a $6 million deal, so it's not even 10%. So this is the price of doing business, but it doesn't necessarily increase anything. What it does increase is it creates a fund of sorts to hire an offensive coordinator, which I would expect to happen. The problem is, I think what some Missouri fans may be thinking is, okay, you got the defense taken care of. Now just add a quarterback and an offensive coordinator, and you're going to see this program build off of that. Well, the reality is some programs are going to get better than they were this year. Some will drop off. And then Missouri's defense isn't just going to hold steady next year. They're going to lose some players. And can you replace those players in addition to find a solution at quarterback? I don't know why Sam Horn hasn't been on the field. For the life of me, I don't know why he hasn't been on the field. And I would have had him on the field earlier in the year. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm not there. It's either because he doesn't think he is worthy, which is concerning, or he might be because he's going, oh, God, this guy doesn't have it. And then if I show fans that he doesn't have it, the one thing that people are holding on to for 2023, they will be super concerned about. The quarterback situation is something to, of course, keep a major focus on as to how they handle it. Is it going to be transfer portal, or is it going to be something where they build around Sam Horn? But I do believe they'll have an offensive coordinator, and I'm anxious to see how they handle next year, because next year's schedule is a world of difference from what this year's schedule is. They really could be, and I might make a case that they should be undefeated going into LSU. And that would mean they'd be undefeated through the month of September. And the reason for that is there's one game on the schedule in September that you go, God, that could be a test, and it's Kansas State at home. Other than that, they will be substantial favorites every game in the month of September. The second toughest game, I think, is Memphis here in St. Louis. They have Vanderbilt, and then they have Randoms. And then Brian Kelly and LSU come to Columbia in early October. So you have that kind of momentum, even if it's not with great wins. If you're undefeated going into October, that gets people talking, especially on this side of the state where you don't have football, at least SEC football. So I never wanted to see him fired, not because I bought in, but because I don't think Missouri's in a spot where you can be firing coaches left and right. So in this status, I like that Missouri is committing, even though it's not because of anything he has done, per se, on the field. It's because of the process that it takes to really build the program. So I see progress, even though I certainly hold him responsible for the debacle on offense and the fact that they do not have an SEC caliber quarterback. Thank you. God bless America.
Oh, but from my perspective, it's about entertainment, and they're just not a very entertaining team to watch. Not a whole lot of fun to watch. So until they fix that, I think they're going to have a problem with fan support at some level. People want to be excited about their team, and it's hard to get excited about a team that plays boring football. Right now, they're a boring team for me as far as SEC football goes. I look forward to every game. I sit down on the couch, anxious for every game, and then the game starts, and I say, what am I wasting this Saturday on this for?
Well, I'll tell you. Yep.
Maybe it'll
I
change.
just feel it's like it's our job, and that's why. But
Yeah.
yes, I know what you're saying.
So I got up in the middle of it, second quarter, the last game. I said, I'm not going to sit here and watch any more of this, and did some errands. But I'm not the most diehard fan in the world anymore because it's just not very entertaining football to me.
Now, I think an offensive coordinator would be huge. I think they'd have probably 2 more wins if they had an offensive coordinator.
If they had a good one.
A good one. I get you, a competent one. But I think there's more than a 50% chance that Brady Cook is the quarterback next year. And I say that because...
I will wager with you on that if you're interested.
Well, I said more than 50%, so I wouldn't be
understand.
surprised if obviously they go Sam Horn direction, but Drinkwitz is all about practice and who's going to win in practice. And I still think he really likes Brady Cook. I don't think he's great, but we don't know what Sam Horn is.
Because he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And that either is a concern that Horn isn't there or that he doesn't want to show Horn. But the quarterback situation, just like if you're going to give him credit for the defense, then you also have to be critical. Like you can't pick and choose. And I'm not saying that people are, but that's why sometimes my words irritate Missouri fans, because I say things that don't necessarily, tickle their balls into saying everything is okay, because everything is not okay. Larry Thornton says, Drink will get a transfer quarterback. I'll bet Horn doesn't play next year either. That's from Larry
Well, if he
Thornton.
doesn't, then he's just going to focus on baseball. You have a window of Sam Horn has options and can do a lot more than just play football.
Well,
So-
if this is the case, it must be that Sam Horn just isn't as good as we want him to be.
Yeah.
Because certainly there's a need for a quarterback.
Well, he was going to play him against Vanderbilt. He was going to do that. And that was something that I was aware of before it was, common knowledge, so to speak, that was the plan. And then they couldn't build on that first half lead, and they didn't. Keep in mind, when you think of the biggest transfer quarterbacks this year and the impact that they're having, I think probably there are 2 names that come in, 2 I'm thinking of. Plowhawk, you're nodding, so I'm going to go to you here on the dais.
Yep.
Which names are you thinking of?
Jaden Daniel for LSU is a
That's
game
one of them?
changer. For me, I personally am a big fan of Jackson Dart at Ole Miss, but obviously he's not a household name.
The one I
but-
was thinking of is Bo Nix.
Bo Nix as well, yes.
So
What
Jaden
about USC?
Daniels.
Didn't he follow him from
Caleb
Oklahoma,
Williams,
or-
yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, certainly. Jaden Daniels certainly getting a lot of attention because of what took place Saturday night against Alabama. And Jaden Daniels was somebody Missouri was in the mix for, so much so that Jaden Daniels had to issue a statement that he had not decided to go anywhere because I'm not sure if it was a Missouri fan blog or what it was. Jackson, maybe reported that Missouri and Jaden Daniels had come to an agreement he was transferring to Missouri. So just picture, if you watched any of LSU and Alabama, or you've watched any LSU football at all this year, if Jaden Daniels were the quarterback. And just how different things would be.
Yeah.
I mean, Missouri with Brady Cook truly, listen, I'd say it the other way around, too, if it went the other way, which, of course, I would get lit up by Missouri fans for doing it. But if the shoe were on the other foot against Auburn, I say, yeah, Missouri should have lost that game. You can count it as a win all day long, but Missouri did not play well enough to win that game. Well, in this case, Missouri did, and Mevis missing a kick from there, and Pete fumbling the ball on whatever inch-yard line he did, So my point is the process of the play has improved enough with essentially no offense to be in a much better spot. And that is how I evaluate it, because last year they weren't even in so many of these games. And so I see it as progress. But I recognize, and this is where Gabe and I differ, that you have to eventually win games. I mean, of course. But for me, this wasn't going to be a year where you're competing for the SEC East anyway, so let's see progress. And if they do wind up competing for the SEC East, great. But you can't have the crap you had last year. And you don't have the crap you had last year. It's a different style of crap. It's on the offensive side of the ball. But the fact that they were able to tend to a defense that was as bad as it was to now that it's a strength, that is so encouraging. And you also have to give him credit for being able to bring in players defensively out of the transfer portal. That's where this turned around, along with Blake Baker. So I like what I am seeing from a progress standpoint. Am I entertained by it? Am I like, oh, good, Missouri's playing, I shall sit down and be entertained? No, but it's a process. And while 2007 probably stunned people, as great as it was something that in the years leading up to, it was building up to, not to that level, but these don't just come out of nowhere. And so I see progress. And I'm glad that he is going to get at least one more year. But as Gabe said, there will be no more excuses, because we have seen coaches come into programs inheriting dumpster fires and turning them around quickly, and you can see them throughout the SEC. So there will be no more excuses, and Missouri is giving him the dollars to have success and build an offensive staff, and that is and they're putting more money into the program, and they're essentially risking about 8% more with Drinkwitz.
The big difference is the portal, because I don't know how good you could be as a defensive coordinator. You're always at the mercy of getting recruits. Now you can kind of pick and choose. You get so many to choose from. I love this guy. If you look at his record, going back to Louisiana Tech, Miami, LSU, I think he was the linebackers coach at LSU. He wasn't a coordinator. I mean, he's always had great first years in his new job, and then it's gone down every year after that. And again, that could be just, guys leaving and who they got, and recruiting wasn't good, but now they've got the portal. You have a much better chance of getting the guys you want on defense where you can be successful year after year. He hasn't really done that in his career.
Maybe you could just go to Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and say, who's your backup quarterback? Would you like to come here and play? Wouldn't you rather play than sit on the bench there?
You need to tend to quarterback and offensive line. But yeah, in the Larry Thornton text, and he said it's not so much about Horn. I don't think Drinkwitz is going to tie his future to someone who hasn't thrown a pass if he doesn't have to. You follow that logic? That makes sense. I mean, his job's on the line. And you don't have somebody. I mean, I would imagine he'll play against New Mexico State. I would imagine he will.
We may not think Drinkwitz is an offensive genius, but he's got to be smart enough to identify who his best quarterback is. And he must know for sure that Cook is better than Horn.
If that's the case, then then you have to get a transfer quarterback, and you got to try like hell. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I get it. He would be a different player probably at Mizzou than he would at LSU. Just, the difference in, talent-wise, certainly on the roster. But that was one. Offensive line's huge, too, yeah. So you got to get a quarterback. I don't know who's going to be out there. Right. But if it's not Horn, I'm telling you, Cook's the only one. It's not going to be Abraham's graduating, Macon. I don't think Drink really even trusts him, so he's never going to put him in. I mean, Cook or Horn right now.
Right. And Horn's a true freshman. So, his growth, you look at the top quarterbacks in college football right now, none of them are true freshmen.
Oh, 100% agree.
Well, he was willing to put him in a game a few weeks ago and say, the opportunity wasn't there.
They'll play him against New Mexico State. I would be absolutely shocked. And if they don't, because they're in a close game, then that's a whole other issue.
He had so little faith in Sam Horn that he wouldn't put him in against Vanderbilt when they were just slightly ahead.
What about when they put Abraham in and he threw 2 picks and back-to-back throws?
Sit back down.
Wrapped it up.
That was hilarious.
Sam Horn wears number 21. It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It's odd.
I just want to see this kid play. His highlight reel in high school looked great. He's an athlete. He's a great baseball player. You just want to see something different, I guess.
You wonder why he isn't going baseball all the way.
We play him at Mizzou, playing baseball at Mizzou, I do believe.
Yeah, I would hope if he's that good. He's a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, if he's that highly talented, he didn't come here to sit on the bench. If he's got a baseball future, he'll pursue that, I'm sure.
Your thoughts are welcome. Text in 314-881-TMA5, Engineer Design Facilities text inbox, or call into the Steve Schmidt Kia North County phone line, 636-9004-TMA. It's the appliance discounters. 8 o'clock hour. Making a delicious drink should be as easy and simple as pouring a glass of wine, and now it is, thanks to Batch & Bottle's new ready-to-serve cocktails, all containing super premium spirits like the Hendricks Gin Martini, Glenfiddich Single Malt Manhattan, Reka Rhubarb Cosmo, and Monkey Shoulder Lazy Old Fashioned. Don't spend your next party in the kitchen shaking and stirring while your guests have a good time without you, like a cock. Treat them and treat yourself to Batch & Bottle's premium ready-to-serve cocktails. Batch & Bottle premium pre-batched cocktails imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc., New York, New York. Doug, can you tell us about Bertarelli Cutlery?
Well, it's where you go to get your knife sharpened or do some of your holiday shopping. The holiday season is fast approaching. I guess you could say it's here now. We all know that getting a gift for that special somebody isn't always easy. If you or anyone you know is looking for a gift that's a cut above the rest, let me suggest you check out the fine folks down at Bertarelli Cutlery. Bertarelli Cutlery is a locally owned family business that has been an institution on the Hill since 1974. So support local, swing on down to the Hill and go see our friends Marco Bertarelli and company at Bertarelli Cutlery. They have an awesome showroom with a variety of kitchen tools and gadgets, mixers, and, of course, some world-class knives like those Wusthof knives. Also, they'll sharpen your knives at Bertarelli just in time for Thanksgiving. Slice your turkey up like a pro with your freshly sharpened tools, courtesy of Bertarelli, and you'll be singing Chop, Chop, Cheeky. Don't settle for a gift card or the same lame sweater this holiday season. Instead, you should cut to the chase and choose Bertarelli. They're at 1927 Marconi Avenue on the Hill, or you can call them. I'll give the phone number now.
Do it.
314-664-4005, or if it's easier for you to remember a website, it's BertarelliCo.com. Thank you, Marco Bertarelli, the longest-running sponsor on this here radio presentation.
Billiken fans, a couple big things coming up for St. Louis University that you should make plans to attend. First, the St. Louis University men's team is taking on Memphis this coming Tuesday, November 15th at 8 p.m. at Chaifetz Arena. Both SLU of the A-10 and Memphis of the American Athletics Conference were selected at number 2 in their conference preseason polls. Travis Ford's Billikens are receiving votes for the top 25. They opened their season on Monday night with a nice win over Murray State. And Penny Hardaway's Memphis Tigers kicked off their season with a win over Vanderbilt. It will be a solid matchup, and it will always be a fun atmosphere at Chaifetz. It's a great place to enjoy college basketball. Again, that's SLU men's basketball versus Memphis on Tuesday, the 15th. Tickets start at just $20. Also, this Saturday, the 12th, at 1 p.m., the SLU women's soccer team will also host Memphis in the first round of the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament. SLU won their 5th straight A-10 title and are a 2 seed in their region, the best tournament seed in the program's history. So, both SLU men's hoops and SLU women's soccer against Memphis. Check it out. Support the Bills and purchase tickets at SLUbillikens.com. That's SLUbillikens.com. Some Jim Dandies here, Doug. Right here.
Really?
The Jewel of Midtown, sure.
Yeah.
You got the Billikens and Penny Hardaway. It's
It'd be fun
Memphis.
to watch. Yeah.
And then also the women's soccer team killing it. 2 seed. And they're
Yeah.
taking on Memphis as well. It's all Memphis all the time.
They've got a legitimate chance to win the whole thing, the women's soccer team.
Well, you know, you talk about the tournament.
Talk about the tournament.
Who does Mizzou play in their second game? Of the
UPenn.
God almighty.
This is, I mean, this is college basketball.
Come
Well,
and get
look,
you some, Penn.
SLU isn't playing any cupcakes their first couple of games.
They played Murray. They
Murray
got plenty of
State's-
cupcakes.
Murray
Don't
State's
sleep
not
on
a
the
bad team.
racers.
Well, so
They're
Atlantic
better.
10 is different than
They're
the SEC.
better than Central Eastern Indiana A&M.
This is the best. All of the Power 5 teams played cupcakes in the first couple games.
You call those 2 cupcakes?
I said Power 5.
Well, they all play cupcakes at some point.
I mean, this is, but like, it's not just Mizzou.
Well, the
plays.
A-10's not like some Division 2.
No, it's mid-major.
No. I still don't like the A-10. Still wish they weren't in it.
You want them to be in the Missouri Valley?
That'd be better for me.
The A-10's a better basketball conference.
Well, it might be, but it's hard for the fans to get into it. I mean, how many people even still, to this day, know all the teams in the A-10?
Well, you know, you talk about the bodies and the work that the bodies are doing.
Fordham. Don't forget about Rhode Island.
Well, you talk about the Rams and a trip to New York.
How about LaSalle? Remember that gym?
Philadelphia. What a great, great basketball city.
I don't
like it. On Dayton.
The gym, the Dayton game 2 years ago was one of the best basketball games I've ever been to.
It really bugs me that all the conferences have just been thrown up in the air and Teams land
Rutgers is in the
everywhere.
Big Ten, bro. They're in New York, and they have
They're
to
in New
fly to
Jersey.
Nebraska.
Rutgers is the University of New Jersey, basically.
Yeah, and they play in basically the Midwest.
Yeah, but at least they're close to Penn State and some of those other schools.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
And it's a big, huge state university.
Yeah, but then they tried to put the Big Ten tournament in New York because Rutgers is nobody went to the Big Ten tournament in New York. No one.
That's why they put Rutgers in the Big Ten, is to get that New York market.
And
New
it's
York
not
TV
working.
market.
They're average. I wouldn't say they're
I
terrible.
don't know if it works for the Big Ten network, if they can now sell to advertisers at New York as part of their coverage
I don't know.
area.
That's a good
probably,
question.
Probably. That's why they're in there. But I don't see
New
any.
York and L.A. in their conference.
Yeah,
The only one.
I just don't see the benefit for St. Louis U. I know that the A-10 gets 2 or 3 schools in the tournament. So do other conferences that they could be in, I think.
MVC is border like when they had Wichita State and
Creighton.
That was a different story. But now it's basically just the tournament winner gets in from the MVC.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
with the A-10, they can get a couple, because they, something like Dayton has been a top 25 team for the past couple of years. Put out some NBA players.
I would just like to see them have some rivalry games.
Yeah, I hear you.
Who do they have as a rival?
The one game against Butler when Dickie Vitale came to town, that was awesome. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago.
I don't really know what the answer is for the conference they should be in.
It's tough for mid-majors. Like, there's no clear conference for a mid-major team.
Yeah. Well, maybe they can join the Big Ten.
Great atmosphere, though, at SLU. Every time I go, it's fired up, full.
Yeah, it's
People
fun.
love the team. It's a great arena.
I haven't been to many games that have been full, but I haven't been to a whole lot of games either. So maybe I'm missing the fact that Chaffetz is full.
It's full often. Like I said, that against Dayton when they had Obi Toppin, that game was.
What about when Woburn was here? Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, I mean that was awesome.
They had Scoochie Smith or
Woburn was on an 8-year plan, I
Yeah.
believe. Hey, if you have visibility to your company or place of business's commercial fire alarm panel and system, email fire@edf-rg.com, and they will have a technician come out and provide a free evaluation of your system and offer the most competitive contract pricing in the market. You can also check them out anytime at edf-rg.com, the official commercial fire alarm services and solutions provider of the Ryan Kelly Morning After. EDF's fire division is now testing, inspecting, and maintaining the fire system on all commercial kitchen and restaurant hoods. EDF can handle all of your company's security and surveillance needs, from surveillance cameras to access card readers to facial recognition software and everything in between. It's engineered, designed facilities. That is EDF. Engineered Design Facilities, sponsor of our text inbox here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. If you are looking for a career change, I would like to recommend Centric. Cybersecurity is the most exciting career in technology and one of the most in demand. Centric can train you for a career in cybersecurity, and they can do it in just 4 months. Centric's hands-on program teaches you the actual job skills you need to get started. No history, no biology, just technology. And that's how they do it in just 4 months, even if you have no IT experience. And you can do it online or you can do it in person. You can do it in the evenings or you can do it during the day, whichever works best for you. If you're interested in a career in cybersecurity, call Patrick Nealon at Centric Training today, and he'll walk you through Centric's cutting-edge program and show you everything Centric does to help get you started in your new IT career. Call 314-450-4714. Go to centric.com/STL. That's CENTRIQ.com/STL. Cybersecurity is a problem for every business in St. Louis. You can be part of the solution. That is Centric. We're in the Michelob Ultra Studios. Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the studios here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After, sponsor of all of our golf events as well. Michelob Ultra, 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the studios here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. I know many of you are longtime listeners of this radio show, and we certainly are grateful for your support for 18 years. And if you are a loyal listener of this show, you will want to make sure that you are listening for our next segment. So please stick around. It's coming up next. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open. Pepperoncini. 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 Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
Nothing says barbecue like Naven's Barbecue. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a family gathering, Naven's Barbecue has an extensive menu for any palate. From slow-smoked Texas-style brisket to award-winning smoked chicken wings. All Naven's Barbecue is wood-smoked, and all their meat is from local and regional farmers. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook for daily specials and holiday meal packages. Stop by their location at the intersection of Grand and Arsenal in South City today for the best barbecue in the STL. Online at navensbbq.com. That's NAVINSBBQ.com.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan for Design Air Heating and Cooling. I am a very happy client. Design Air Heating and Cooling and Seth Goldcamp and his incredible staff, which you can find online at designairservice.com. Just go to the website, click on the Book Now tab, and any issues you may be having with your HVAC system, they will take care of immediately. The customer service, second to none. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and right now, this is a unique time, and I'm here with Ryan Kelly. And Ryan, what can you tell our listeners about this moment in American history?
Well, it's the perfect time to buy a house. Yeah. When you think about that, knowing that you can get a house significantly less today than a year ago, I mean, that's a win-win, right? And mortgage rates are definitely a little higher than they were a year ago. But at thehomeloanexpert.com, we have a saying: you marry the house, you date the rate. Got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? Let's talk. It all starts today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago, and they still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com.
Hey, it's Jackson for Rosalita's. TMA listeners know that's always a great time to gather at Rosalita's. Why not start off with a happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m.? Enjoy happy hour specials including $3 off of appetizers like the wildly popular Carne con Cerveza, marinated steak cooked to order and served on a sizzling skillet. The patio is heated and covered, plus Rosalita's offers live music on Thursdays and mariachi every weekend. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's Sports Talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app. The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
Hi, I'm Trish Wolf with the Wolf Pack at Worth Clark Realty. Are you considering buying your new dream home and you don't know where to start? Well, let me and my top producing team handle everything for you. At the Wolf Pack, we're going to walk you through that buying process. We're going to educate you. We're going to keep your deadlines on track. So remember, rates might be rising and they might be in the 6s, but rents are always at 100% and they're on the rise too. Let's get the conversation started because your next dream home's out there. We just need to find it and you need the right strategy. So call me, Trish Wolf, at 807-WOLF, or you can find me at trishwolf.com. Join the pack. We've got your back.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
The Ryan Kelly Morning After.
On KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back. It's Ryan Kelly Morning After. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Plowhawk, Action Jackson with you here on the program. It's our Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour coming up at 9:45. It will be our Design Air heating and cooling email of the day. Send yours in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. You are welcome to text into the program, the Engineer Design Facilities text inbox, 314-881-TMA5. And you're always welcome to call in to our Steve Schmidt Kia of North County phone lines, 636-900-4TMA. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome to the program the great Jennings Randolph Jr. Jay, good morning.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, we're doing good.
Wonderful, kind sir.
Nice morning in St. Louis for the early portion of November, no question about it.
Yep.
I had asked him, well, let me first say, when I got my initial diagnosis of having cancer, nobody, and I don't want anybody to poo-poo this or Tim to say, nah. Nobody has been more supportive through this process than Tim McKernan. But on October 21st, I found out that I had cancer of the liver, they believe, predominantly. And had another test, had a lot of tests. I don't like tests. And came to find basically last Thursday or Friday that I have terminal cancer and I have anywhere from 3 to 4 months to live. And other than that, I was to play Mrs. Lincoln. So it's a shock for somebody who's 53. I can't imagine the shock it would be to somebody that's 53 and hasn't had the unique, distinct opportunities that this 53-year-old has had to enjoy life and be around people like you guys, the radio family, the golf family. You know, I was thinking the other day about some of the great pros, and my teacher, Phil Hewitt, who Tim learned about at Westboro, and Billy Hall at Glen Echo, and Dick Shaper, and Mark Marcuzzo, and I'm not even going to mention Rocco Siffredi.
Leave him out of it.
So, I mean, it's a shocker. I think you initially, when you sit down in a chair with a guy and you're thinking he's going to say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that, we can do chemo. I mean, he's doing his job. He looked at me blank in the face. I said, bad? He said, real bad. 3 or 4 months. So at that point, your whole mindset changes. You start thinking about do I need to make amends with somebody? How important is that? How important it is to be with the family? You guys know I've been very fortunate to take my son 3 times in the last 16 months to Vegas. I've secured a tremendous relationship with him. Think of all the people I've met through TMA. And I'm going to be all right. I'll be okay. At this point, I feel bad for the people that, have shared a piece of the fun that I've had, like a Sarah B. or a Jay Boyd. I've known that nut job next to you since 1992. Half the stuff we've done, we've forgotten. He knows how much I love him. And so, Tim, I appreciate you allowing me to come on, and I'm true when I say I wouldn't make it up. You have been the most supportive through this whole time, and you just got to keep on fighting.
Well, as you know, I'm a big proponent of praying. I've been doing it my entire life. I don't give up, brother. I mean, you got to believe in miracles, man. Just pray every day, and I believe in miracles.
Yeah, the miracles need to kick over the medicine, because the spots that we're talking about in the liver situation, once your liver starts to head the wrong way, you got big problems. And like I said, I mean, there aren't a whole lot of 53-year-olds that played golf with Michael Jordan, sat on Ted Kennedy's lap, and have worked with Seika. So I think if they give out a prize, you guys keep an eye on them, because you know somebody who has.
Now, Jay, I'm gonna have Madison tonight send you some feet pics, so I hope that'll make you feel better as well.
And I wasn't exactly sure out of my TMA familia who exactly knew to the extent. I know that Kenny knew, and I knew that Tim knew. I was thinking about it last night. 1993. Jeff Smith, my radio partner, and I signed a deal with John Kiowski and Merrill Hansen to go on Big 550 Radio. So it's unique to see how things turn around, and you see people grow, and you see things happen, and they've asked me 3 or 4 times in the situation that I'm at, what's most important. And it's comfort. I'll be flat straight with you. It's comfort and being at peace as the next couple of weeks play out.
Jay, are you still getting medical care?
I went yesterday and had a CAT scan, where they put the beryllium in and you get hot for about 50 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've probably had 3 CAT scans, 2 of the beryllium deals. They took out, I guess, modern medicine is incredible. What the doctor called it a test sample. That's a biopsy. Is when they take a test sample.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice way of putting it. And that really was the kicker, where they found that whether it be chemo or some sort of radical treatment, the liver had become not strong enough to sustain that type of situation. And I've had a couple people come over. I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest man of faith. Don't have any disdain for those that are. But, they bring over a guy one day, and I shake his hand, and he says, I think you'll be cured. And I wanted to say, do you have the daily double at Keeneland? I mean, it's a process. And like I said, making some of those amends, especially, that after when I got divorced at 33 or 32, I lost a little relationship with my son for a couple of years, and I have completely regained that, and I'm at peace with my daughter. I got a fantastic life partner. I got people like Tim, Dave Green, Sarah B., Jeff Smith of Walters Golf Management, and there's a zillion of them out there. And I started to see some things come over the weekend, and I'm like, I'd rather get a little ahead of the chase.
Yeah.
And one of the things I know that we're going to do, because that life partner is very involved in bereavement at Annie's Hope, there's a page, jrandolphjr.com. I'm not looking for money, even though I should be. We're going to send that to Annie's Hope if you'd like to make a donation. It will also be a place where you can post some things, see some pictures, maybe take a moment and enjoy some of the times we've had.
The website is jrandolphjr.com. It takes you to a GoFundMe, and also there's some great pictures of Jennings.
Yeah, I never thought I'd have my own website. Interesting case to get it.
And all the pictures are there. I think what's going to happen here, I was texting with Sarah B. last night, Jennings, and goes without saying, brutal, devastating. People love you, and I think what you are going to experience here over the next few days and weeks is finding out just how much people love you. I think you are one of the most likable people that I've gotten to know, and few people can tell a story like you can. And any time I knew you were coming in on the show, it was a kick in the ass because I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, we both were looking forward to some things down the road, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. I've been piling up the losses and the rains.
Well, you made a lot of people awfully happy and put a lot of smiles on people's faces for many years. I hope you can take some pleasure and happiness knowing that.
Without question. It is amazing, and I don't think the listener necessarily relates to it unless they play maybe in some of the deeper games on the web or come to TMAs or do this or that. It's an extremely loyal bunch. It always has been, sponsor-wise, support-wise, togetherness. Togetherness. And Timmy, I appreciate you letting me come on. I think all of you know that I feel something for each and every one of you. You're unique guys, and I've been very fortunate to work with you. As I've said before, a guy said, Doug Vaughn's going to be on the morning show. I said, for what?
Thanks, Jay. Thank you.
But, God, Lord, whoever pulled that trigger was dead on. And to see the variations of Plowsy and Iggy working about 150 cities, and my new Ladue alum that's part of the team, and the guy that got me started really listening to radio away from the radio, Tim McKernan. So I appreciate you guys for having me on. Check out the website. If you post something there, I'll try and get back to it. But there it is, and keep me in your thoughts.
I love you, Jennings.
Yeah, I love you, Jay.
We love you.
Love you, Jay. All of you, boys.
Love you, buddy.
Thanks so much.
Hang in there. Think you're going to be around a while. Hang in there.
That's Jay Randolph Jr. Some incredibly sad news. Please, if you can, make a donation. And if you can't make a donation, just post whatever thoughts you may have so Jay can see them at jayrandolphjr.com. It's a GoFundMe page, but it doesn't have to be a place for donations. Ideally, people can raise money at jayrandolphjr.com, certainly for his family's expenses, but then also for the money to go to Annie's Hope, which is something that is near and dear to his heart.
He is such a fabulous guy. Have you ever been around him when he wasn't just laughing?
That's the thing, man.
And you just couldn't wait to be around him and talk with him. Every time he came in here, it was just a barrel of laughs all the time. Such a happy guy. Everybody who ever met him loved him.
Jackson and I were talking yesterday, and I said he's one of those people who I know our audience absolutely loves because of exactly what you say, that laughter, happiness. He loved being on this show, and what he was making reference to was, my goal, and I did say it on the radio, is that he would be a regular part of this show in 2023. And I had talked about that with Tommy, talked about it with him earlier in the year. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
I mean, people have known him for 30. I've only known him for 10 years, which is a shame because he's the most unique, fun-loving character I have ever met. Like, ever. And I've known him for 10 years. It's not like I've worked with him since 92 or anything. Like, the whole family, I actually knew his dad before I knew Jay, and just everything about Jay just is, you cannot be upset around that guy. He is just a treasure. So, I mean, you've seen miracles happen before in these situations, so you're just really praying that, the outcome is not as grim as, what the tests say. And so, we love Jay.
Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, maybe he will be part of us in 2023. We hope.
Well, Jay likes pictures, and there's a lot of people that have known Jay over the years. And there's all kinds of pictures you've taken with him. So, yeah, go to jayrandolphjr.com. If you can donate, fine. But, send some happy stuff. Send some nice pictures of you and Jay, or out on the golf course or at events. But that probably got 1,000. But, share some pictures.
That's a good call. He'll be checking out the TMA fan page. So if you're not a member, go to Facebook, TMA fan page, and I'm sure I know already because I can see a bunch of messages already posted to him. He'll be checking that out. And as we said, we hope he is around for a long, long time and miracles can happen. You also hear, I was talking with a doctor who's been, with Jay here over the last few weeks, and said he's very philosophical about it. And you heard the way he approaches it. He feels like he has had an incredible, incredible life, and he has. He has done some things that most people will never get an opportunity to do, and he's grateful. There isn't a lot of bitterness in his voice when you hear him. He's still laughing, that laugh that we love, that signature laugh, and that's why people absolutely love him. So please, if you can, it'll mean a lot to him and his family to see the pictures, the expressions of gratitude for what he has done and beyond TMA. He's been in the market for 30 years and been a part of the golf community for decades as well. But if you can, go to jayrandolphjr.com or post it on the TMA fan page or tweet at him or whatever the case might be. But if you can make a donation, that certainly would be an incredibly kind way to show your appreciation for all of the kindness he has brought, but also the laughs that he has brought over the years.
Look at what he's done to the game of golf in this city. I mean, look at what he's done to Normandy when he was out there, and Gateway to an extent. I haven't been out to Sullivan, so I can't really have firsthand experience, but he is such a good guy for the game of golf, for the average golfer. I just, the connections he has and just everything, he could not be more accommodating in any situation. I just can't get over it, man. He's just one of my best friends.
Still a relatively young guy at 53. It's just a reminder. You got to live each day to the fullest. Not guaranteed tomorrow. And certainly, if anyone has ever lived to the fullest, it's him.
Amen.
He didn't get cheated very, very often.
Amen.
He's had a wonderful time.
I'm probably not in this business without Jay. I mean, I started in '92 as an intern, KSP, and they'd already put the lineup together. And my first day, I think I was supposed to be there at 7. I got there at 7:05, and Jay wrote next to my name, late.
Mm-hmm.
I said, who the hell does this guy think he is? I'm not even getting paid.
You're upset with him.
But then he took me under his wing and made me a part of the golf show that was so huge and popular. And kind of got a name as a producer on the golf show, which led to other things. And so, yeah, if he doesn't do that, and I'm just kind of making a few bucks at KSP, and then I go to KFNS, like, I don't even like this. But getting to work with Jay and Jeff and that golf show and the people he introduced me to in the golf community, and so I'm probably not in this business enough for him.
Well, the fundraiser has already raised more than $1,500.
Let's go.
So God bless the audience for supporting Jennings. But the love for Jay Randolph Jr. goes well beyond TMA and his impact in St. Louis and the golf community that's, international. I mean, he was a part of golf coverage on Sirius XM. His father, a legend as well, and anything that you can do for the family, please go to jayrandolphjr.com. If you want to, I know a lot of people are texting in, incredibly emotional, understandably so. You're welcome to call in, text in, 636-9004-TMA, and you are welcome to text in 314-881-TMA5. Jay Randolph Jr. His girlfriend sent me this, and the plan initially was for me to read this at the beginning of the show, but then, and what was a great development, Jay was going to be able to call in, and so that's why it took place at 9 o'clock. But again, it's on jayrandolphjr.com. Jay has been unwell, and test results were not encouraging. He has terminal cancer, and he's asking for privacy. Please respect that. While he and his family navigate this unfamiliar journey, he is incredibly grateful for the friendship and support of the community, and he feels very fortunate to have shared so many unique experiences and met such wonderful people. JRandolphJr.com is the place to express your well wishes and support, as it's impossible for Jay to respond to individual messages. They will update the website as things change, and anyone who wants to help can contribute to the fund set up through the site, JRandolphJr.com. Receiving a terminal diagnosis is more devastating than words can describe, yet Jay remains comfortable and in good spirits. He has not lost his sense of humor, and he's being cared for at home by people who cherish him. We are brokenhearted, but thankful for the time that we have, and we feel the love and positive energy of all of the people sending their support. That comes from Jay's family, and they would encourage people, if they can, to post their messages at JRandolphJr.com. And as Iggy said, he loves pictures, so post pictures. And you know Jennings will see them again, JRandolphJr.com.
And if you could, because, I mean, obviously Jay has a ton more friends than just people listening to the show. So if you could, share that website, either on your social medias, with your friends, so that more people can see it other than the people that just listen to the show. Because obviously he's got a lot more friends than just the people listening to the show. Now, granted, there's a ton of people listening to the show, all love Jay, but he's done so much other things that... So if you can, share that website on your social media outlet.
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone is thinking they'd love to go see him and visit him, but...
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, but at times you just kind of want to be with your family and not have to deal with everyone else. Even though you love them, love your friends and everyone, but you just kind of want to be left alone. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Just hope he keeps fighting.
Oh, he will. I'm not giving up. I don't. My mom always told me, because I would ask her this question. I've always prayed since. Now, granted, I'm Catholic. You pray to whatever God you believe in. There's no God that's better than the other one. If you believe in one compared to mine, that's fine. But praying is not going to hurt. But I always ask my mom. I said, "Why do I keep praying to this end and it never happens?" She always said, "She goes, well, if he wants to do it, he'll do it. We don't question what he does. So all you can do is pray and hope he listens and believe in miracles."
Yeah.
2,500 already.
He's touched a lot of people, that's for sure. He's just one of those guys you couldn't help but like.
Yeah.
Even if you had never met him, just to be around him at all, instantly he felt like a friend, someone you'd known a long time.
You're exactly right, Doug.
Hey, honey. His greeting to complete female stranger.
First time
hey, honey.
I met him, he had a foot in his mouth.
Oh.
Cut that off.
But the fetish was so mild, it was hardly even worth bringing up.
And what's great is I worked with his dad, who, if you don't know Jay Sr., it just couldn't be, like him and Jay are on the same tree in terms of could not be nicer, funny personality. But like in terms of how different they are as well. When I first met Jay Sr. in comparison when I first met Jay Jr., he had a foot in his mouth. He is just a golden human being. Just can't love him enough. Oh, that's a funny times. God, those live events.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, just thinking about him kind of makes you smile.
Oh, man, he kills me. He just kills me. Oh.
Well, yeah, I just hope he keeps fighting it, and that he's around a long time, that they've come up with a way to treat him and extend his life as long as they possibly can.
Amen. Well, he said he's going to keep fighting.
Yeah, I hope.
He said he's going to keep fighting. And he will. And he is so grateful for this audience. He considers it to be a part of his extended family. And so any messages that whenever you get the time to do it, or any pictures that you can share, I know that will lift his spirits. And any donation you can make, that certainly would be a great tribute as well. Again, JRandolphJr.com is where you can go to make your donation, and the total is already over $3,000. And you can continue to do so at GoFundMe.com, but it's jrandolphjr.com. So there it is. I want to hear some Jennings drops. That's what I want to hear. Plowhawk.
Have you got any of those, Plowsy?
What do you have? Just the more, the better.
I mean, we're going to go to Dotem's, clip that off, and we'll just play a ton of them.
Cuddle up. People think that sometimes I have a foot fetish.
Yeah, they were wrong about that.
Frisky lesbo.
Mm-hmm. Very wrong. Because fetish is a harsh word, and it's just an appreciation. Really.
And it was for the
Doug, always good to see you. It's better to look at you from behind.
Okay. Forgot about that one.
And I'm trying to find my favorite one that he just created last time he was in, because he was in studio, I think, when Doug was gone. There it is.
If you don't have a truck, a tat, and a kid by 20, you ain't nothing.
I think he was describing Sullivan.
I think he was.
He once described Sullivan as a boot area.
May I swallow?
Oh, that was somebody's name.
Yeah, I think he was reading a Kevin Miller
I believe so.
email. Man, he is just so... And he's on top of his game when he's on air. He brings his A game every time. I really miss him.
You might be the best I've ever worked with.
And that's a classic.
Was that Jewel? Was that Ariana Marie?
Ariana Marie.
It was Ariana Marie. That was up. He hadn't met Jewel at the time.
No. And he'd already worked with Seika and
That's
Kitten,
correct.
Tibby Dodd.
Yes, that's correct.
Ariana Marie, that was a big week for the show. I mean, Jay was really in top-notch form.
Jack of Spades.
Jack of Spades, yeah. He didn't like, I think, that I put the because I think it was just Jack
Spades.
Spade.
Okay.
Nonetheless, he's, I'm sure, somewhere. But
yeah.
Getting a million texts, as you might expect. I shall read them. Heartbreaking. Guys, well said. Jay has made me laugh every time I've heard him on the show over the years. It's just devastating. Let's see what we've got. Guys, I'm amazed at the pics already on the site. Yeah, there's a picture of him with Michael Jordan from, I guess, the day he played with Jordan. Is that accurate, Iggy? I feel like you would know on that.
Probably, unless he was with Jordan at an event somewhere. But I've seen the pictures with him after golf, so I'm guessing that's probably where they were.
Let's see. You're right, Doug. He touched a lot of people and a lot of people's feet. That's from the retired
Papa.
Air Marshal. My God, I feel like I have been punched in the gut. I love Junior. That's from Painter Guy.
We all do. There isn't anybody that doesn't.
he's 100% approval rating, I'm pretty sure.
You don't run into a lot of people like that in your life where you think, oh, yeah, everybody loves him.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Yep. Let's see. Love you, Jay. One of the nicest and coolest people I've ever met. I lost my dad to cancer. It sucks. It's from Sniffin' Holes. Carlos Spicy Wiener. The fact that in the face of something so bleak, a man can still have that same sense of humor and appreciation for what he's gotten to do in his life is something special. Keep fighting, and you'll be in the prayers of the missus and I. I also got to believe you've still got some hot dogs already after 10 a.m. and it rained all day yesterday anyway, you doorknob left in you. That's from Carlos Spicy Wiener. Jennings wouldn't like the calls on the weather that he got.
That's what made him great.
Daddy's out of the weather business.
Is it going to rain? That's the call. He'd be there at the golf course and they'd call him all day. So, is it going to rain?
Just brutal. Love that guy. Praying for a miracle. That's from Scott's Wrinkled Ball Stack. I'm devastated from the Hunchback of Von Castle. Boys, so sorry about this. Only know him from afar as a listener, but I absolutely love him. Sincerely, so sorry about this news about your dear friend. That's from Stepdad Gary. You hear Jay on the show and you immediately feel like you've known him for years. That's from Scissory Timbers. Thank God for Jay and for sunglasses. I'm in tears driving to work. That's from Dillian Harpoon.
Harpoon?
Devastated. No one is more likable than Jay Jr., and he deserves all the praise that will follow. My best to him. That is from a lawyer. I've never cried listening to this show, but I'm welling up today. It's from Uncle Wally's Plastic Ear.
Oh, gosh.
Anytime I
Uncle
played
Wallace's plastic
that was
ear.
your Uncle Wally?
I had an Uncle Wallace who had a plastic ear.
Anytime I played Normandy and Jennings was in the clubhouse holding court, I didn't care if I shot 100 because that guy has the heart of golf, maybe heart of gold, and also told you like it was. Those are hard to come by. That is from Flip Wilson from KG and O-Town. This one effing sucks. My favorite J line is, and when I say passionately kissed, I mean your knees buckled.
Yeah, that was one of his questions.
God, he is so good, man. I forgot about that question.
And he was big on Pearl Harbor, too.
Yeah,
he wanted people to know that date.
Yeah, I was watching an old FFF a couple weeks ago, and the poor girl answered was in the 1800s, and Jay just kept going. Yeah, close, you know. He just couldn't be more magnanimous, like so awesome. God, he was so good at everything, and right, like so good. The first time I met him, instantly he delivered a line that made me laugh so hard. And I was like, this guy is everything I thought he would be and so much more. He's just the greatest.
And I like the subtle shot, like kind of like Maddie would post something and he goes, "Oh, Maddie." Like he had not only a love for the listener, but also the listener's wives and significant others. And he wasn't afraid to show that, and I appreciate it.
And the listeners would reciprocate by sending in pictures of their wives, Doug, although it seems like a lot of them live in Miami or Los Angeles.
Yeah, at times they were fake, but it didn't seem to matter to Jay.
Didn't care.
No. I couldn't get him feet for my very first TMA Live I produced, so I handed them pictures of celebrities' feet and had them guess which celebrity it was. And it might have been I poorly produced segment, but of course he knocked it right out of the park. I think he said that him and Susan Sarandon would get along real well. Because I think she smokes.
Guys, my favorite is his passion for St. Louis getting the NIT Final Four. It's from birthday off.
Yeah.
Doug, I think he filled in for you while you were vacationing in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And he was driving in, and he was listening, I don't know to what station, and somebody who he was listening to was really enthusiastic about St. Louis being a finalist for not the NCAA Tournament Final Four, but the NIT Final Four. And he was beside himself.
Yeah.
And then some listeners were excited about the possibility of St. Louis getting the NIT Final Four. And Jennings went right after him. He went right after him.
He wanted
Salty
nothing to do
rub.
with that.
Yeah, man, he went right after him.
Oh.
I can't believe we're at a point where we're getting excited about the NIT Final Four.
That's kind of where we are.
He couldn't have been more right. Looking back, hindsight, like it's alarming.
Kind of right where we are. Yeah. He's done some fun things.
I would never have picked up golf without Jay, and that's a fact. The fact that he opened up Normandy and
He worked with you on your swing?
He worked with me a little bit, but it was just good to know that you kind of have a guy with that personality in your corner when you're hacking the ball around in a golf course. Like he's running.
And he's a heck of a player.
He is amazing.
Oh, my God.
He is unreal.
Yeah.
Just smacks the ground. I mean, just like hammers the ground.
Straight, dead straight. I mean, absolutely dead straight every time. Yeah, I love watching him play. Because you meet him and you go, okay, he played in the path, but,
doesn't look like he's going to shoot even par today.
Absolutely bombs it.
Right.
Oh, man. I'm just thinking about all the story like Jay, and he's been so involved with TMA.
Yeah.
At least just for the time that I've been on the show.
Yeah, such a fun character. A guy we'll always remember. And we can't talk about him in the past tense because
no.
I think he's going to be around a while longer.
Gentlemen, I've never met the gentleman, but I feel like I've known him my whole life. I hope his family can have a little solace knowing how loved he is by a large bunch of degenerates who they may have never met but will have Jay in their hearts for the rest of their lives, let alone as long as God lets Jay stay on this earth. That's from the Little Dutch Boy. Guys, the couple weeks with him and Jewel were absolutely outstanding. That's from Harrison's brother, Master. Thinking about you fellas today, just awful news. Jay is a legendary character and will be remembered as such. Keep your head up, angry. That is from Ray King. My favorite TMA drop, bar none, is I have tongue-kissed a foot.
Oh.
What a legend. Get well, Jay Jr. That is from Kakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, that one, I don't know. I don't know if I have that one.
I wasn't going to tongue kiss her foot.
There you go.
There we go. See, we did have that one.
He had one wrapped in bacon at one point.
Yeah, he did. Iggy would bring in a lot of condiments.
Wasn't there chocolate syrup, or was that a different one?
Oh, I think probably
I thought there was marshmallows and chocolate syrup as a dessert.
Could well have been.
He had a couple gals kick him in the jowls, didn't he?
Oh, several had their feet on his face while he lay on the ground.
The greatest, man.
And the best part is the female, like, their reaction to half their foot being in a
Right, they didn't seem to mind.
man's mouth.
Yeah, didn't seem to mind. Yeah, he was up for anything, that's for sure.
Sporting.
Yeah. And said he's been to Vegas with his son for 3. I bet
Yeah.
Jay would be a fun guy to go to Las Vegas
Are
with.
you kidding me? I'd go with him today. I would fly his ass out today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably wouldn't get much sleep.
you don't need to there, man.
No.
Never was really into golf, but listening to him talk about the game was always great radio. That's from Ms. Daddy from Dogtown Ty. Don't know him personally, but he's been the far and away best storyteller you guys have ever had involved with the show. Legend. That's from Dogtown Ty. The best is when Jay gets pissed at listeners and calls them scrubs. That's from Marv in Florissant. Oh, man. What about the boobs galore drop? That's from Nutsack Jim.
Oh, how about that one, Plowsy?
Yeah.
That one's on Clip to Love.
Yeah.
She got boobs galore.
So good, man. Just...
I mean, it's so funny. He really loved the old-time porn stars like I do. So when I got
Aunt Peg.
Aunt Peg, he was a big Kay Parker fan like I was. When I got him this picture of Kay Park autographed, he put it in the Normandy window.
The golf course?
Right by Beetlejuice.
He was so excited for it. You walk into the clubhouse and there's Beetlejuice, a picture of, I think, you when we did those 8x10s, and then Kay Parker.
Really?
Like, that fits right there.
Kay Parker. Most country clubs have Kay Parker's picture somewhere prominently displayed.
I mean, who is that Normandy? That place was, and it still is, just absolutely jam-packed. What he did for that community, that area, that golf course.
Well, that's the truth, Plowhawk.
Because of his personality, just the average golfer is embraced, by Jay.
One of the best ambassadors for the game St. Louis has ever seen.
Correct. Yeah. He is unbelievable.
There's a picture of Arnold Palmer winning the U.S. Open. There's Jack winning the Masters at age 46. There's Kay Parker.
Well, he did have the Babe Ruth. I think it was photoshopped that when golfing at Normandy, he posts that every now and then, and he had that picture right there next to Beetlejuice and Kay Parker as well. So he knew his audience.
Yeah. The kind of guy you can't ever think that he would have a bad day.
I've never seen him. I've seen him pissed, but at like somebody else's expense. It's really funny.
Yeah. Always a smile on his face, and seems to still have a bit of a smile on his face.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Getting through it.
Jay Randolph Jr. is the website, jayrandolphjr.com. And a tip of the cap to the people in the community, because more than $4,000 has already been raised for Jay and his family. To read what is on jayrandolphjr.com, Dave Green, who we have worked with over the years, wrote the following. Our beloved friend, Jay Jr., has recently been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and we are raising funds for his medical and end-of-life care. The news has been shocking, especially since we all know Jay to be so full of life. But as he said very recently, how many people have seen and done half the things I have in 53 years? Jay's family and friends want to make sure whatever time is left, it is spent without the burden of worrying about finances, and are all very appreciative of your help. Jay will have a login for this account, and will see any comments you would like to leave, and it would be preferred over sending text messages or DMs. All proceeds from this fundraiser will go directly to Jay and his family for his care. Any remaining funds will be donated to Jay's favorite charity, Annie's Hope, which provides comprehensive support services for children, teens, and their families who are grieving a death. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That's from the Randolph family, Amy LaBelle, Dave Green. And on that page, if you go to it right now, please make a donation if you can, you will see all kinds of pictures of Jennings with Senior, with Sarah B. and Dave Green, with us on TMA, with Lisa Ann doing an FFF. There he is with Michael Jordan. I believe I see Charles Oakley in there as well. Doug, what a pairing.
Of course, yeah. We all have our pictures with
Imagine
Michael
going to Vegas with Oakley and Jay. Oh,
There's
man.
Claibs. and Smitty and Dave, Senior and Jennings. He's always throwing up the peace sign, Doug. He's always throwing up the peace sign. Scissor Gang Mafia. With me and Anna Marie and PGA Pro Dan and Iggy following the duel in the sun. Some people say I lost that match, but I have forgotten. I don't remember.
That was when I first saw Jay play, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, just smacking the ground. It's like a compression festival.
Like, this guy's impressive, for
He hits the ground.
That's how I would describe it. It's like he just goes around.
Just chops at it.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be the first one to tell you he's not able to necessarily rotate like he once did. And so he still has the form to just smack the ground, and the thing would just take off. And I'm like, oh, my God. And if he was within 30 yards of the green, it was up and down automatic. And, I was just skull-left. With Skip Berkmeyer, with Jay Delsing, with Jay Williamson, with Jim Holtgreave, Tom O'Toole, Smitty Sr. There he is with the Golden Bear. Man, what a great moment that is. I'm so glad that happened. To happen at Normandy, his course, with Jack Nicklaus. Man, I'm telling you. So, if you can, check it out. Leave pictures, stories, post them wherever they might be. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
And Jay talked about the relationship he built with his son. And when I worked at Normandy kind of a couple days a month, kind of just helping out with carts on the weekends, you could kind of see that relationship with Jay and his son, and it was so nice to see because, like you could tell they both really enjoyed working together with each other, spending time together. I know his son was kind of just getting into the game of golf as well, so you kind of had Jay, helping him out with that too. That was super awesome to see kind of that relationship, building. Once they started working together at Normandy, it was great. So I know, like I said, the pictures, I bring them up because there's several pictures of him and his son in Vegas. And
yeah.
It's cool.
And that's super cool that their relationship is what it is now.
Yeah.
That he made reference to that. Honestly, I didn't know anything about that, but, Jay being transparent, talking about that. And I know he goes to Las Vegas with him. I didn't realize he'd been there 3 times in the last, God bless him.
Good for him, man. I'm jealous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that he'd been dealing with anything, and he texted me it'll be 3 weeks ago Friday, to let me know. Said he was going to fight it, said he needed to get a second opinion, and that's when that process began, so to speak. And unfortunately the second opinion was not positive news, but Jay, you heard it. I mean, this isn't us just putting words in his mouth. You got to hear him, which is why I'm so happy he got to call in. And how inspirational is that for people who, whether it be themselves, or family members, to get that kind of news and have the gratitude he has for the life experiences and the relationships that he has. That is unique. But he's a unique person, and we are so lucky that he is in our lives. And I'm so grateful that he's going to get a chance to find out just how beloved he is, because I don't know if he knows how appreciated and how loved he is by not just our audience, by so many people, because he's a legendary storyteller. Like you said, Doug, he just makes everybody happy, man.
Yeah. The days that he would come in here, you couldn't wait to get here because Jay was going to be here. It was going to be a fun day.
Walking in with a Starbucks coffee, talking about all the White 3 Series he pulled in, all the moms that just everything. Every story he has is funny as hell.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah. He's just a guy that made you smile.
Yep.
Just looking at him, just talking to him in any situation.
And I realize he has a ton of family, obviously has medical issues. I'd love to see him at some point soon, because I feel like I haven't seen him in so long. Since he, I think, filled in for you, Doug, was the last time I saw him. I just really can't wait to see all the positive, messaging being sent his way, kind of, because I think he knows up to a point how loved he is, but I think the masses are going to come out.
So he was here just last month?
No, it was before. It was Doug. You've been on 8 vacations.
I haven't.
Oh my God! Why is Pepper and Jeannie?
I gotta hop on Jeannie here.
I left it early October. I went to
Wellington.
Tampa.
Filled in when you were in Tampa. He filled in earlier in the year.
Oh,
May.
When he filled in. Actually, I know what he filled in when I went on vacation in July.
Oh, that was it. Okay, gotcha.
He filled in most of those days.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's the last time I've seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, you turn on his mic, man. It's gold, gold, gold.
Yeah. Well, we can only pray that we'll be turning on his mic again here.
Amen,
someday
brother.
soon.
Amen, brother. One of the best drops ever is, "Hey, you dumbass." I love you, Jay. That's from Little Tommy Tribbins, who I guess sent in a picture of him and his wife. And Doug, here is Little Tommy Tribbins and his wife. I never realized that they seem to. This looks like it's straight out of Ladue News, doesn't it?
Is that Ron DeSantis and his wife?
I don't
from
believe-
1940?
Like JFK Jr.
Looks like a professionally done photo, too.
Hey, you dumbass!
Okay,
there we
Jay.
go. What up, Jay?
It's hard to beat if you ain't got a truck and a kid and a tattoo. You ain't nothing.
Like I said,
That's
that
hard
was
to beat.
his most recent drop, and it's gotta be. I do like you're one of my favorites. You're the best I ever work with. Those are classic, Doug.
If you don't have a truck, a tat, and a kid by 20, you ain't nothing.
He was invited on Pepper and Genie and responded with, "Well, I'm waiting on a phone call."
Yeah,
I might have a phone call.
That will live forever. We will
That's the
always-
greatest response I've ever heard.
Well, I hope that phone call wasn't one from the doctor that he was really.
No, he was definitely making up that phone call. You
Yeah,
could tell in his face, and this is, I think, May or June when he said, "Oh no, I got a phone call."
Yeah, long time ago. Yeah, it's a pretty good excuse to get out of anything.
We didn't second guess it, but
No,
I think Tim would have three bet if he had to.
Yeah.
If we were playing poker.
I understand that. The best Foot Fetish Friday is when a male listener sends his younger sister and mom in, and everyone is just so uncomfortable, but yet Jay handles it incredibly and makes the whole thing hilarious. That's from the 314.
Yeah, he worked with mothers and their daughters.
Yep.
There's one guy who
big
doesn't
time.
kink shame. It is 100% Jay Randolph Jr.
He worked with virtually anyone who was willing.
Guys, the segment with Jennings and Caden in studio is the effing best. That's from Randy Character. Yeah, Doug, I believe that's when you decided to do your own show. You did your top 5 goalies of all time and also top 5 quarterbacks to lead you in a game-winning drive.
Right. It's a fabulous topic.
It's a Mount
And you
Rushmore
can have
segment.
it with yourself, really.
Was Elway number 1, or do you have
He
Montana?
was right up there.
He was right up
Yeah.
there. I forgot what the top 5.
And there was a hockey goalie conversation.
Glenn Hall, I think.
Yep,
may have
Mr.
made-
Goalie.
Yeah, Mr. Goalie was in there. Ken Dryden. Let's not sleep on him.
Guys, I would love when Jay would tell people to shine his shoes in the afternoon altar
Get your
play.
shine box. Give him here.
Guys, just devastated to hear this. Always funny, kind, and just a pleasure to be around. Prayers to him, his family, and all the TMA family. One of the best, period. That's from Flocky the Smurf.
I have very positive vibes. I know it's terrible news, but like I'm always thinking about Jay, and you always think about there are miracles that happen. There are situations where things change on a dime, and I think that's kind of where I'm at. It's super devastating. Love Jay, but he's still here, so I want to make sure that we don't use him in the past tense, and he's still kicking. He's hanging out. You heard him. He was on the ball throwing zingers on the phone, man. Like, I love Jay.
We should have him come in and do the full 3-hour show again. So we don't care if you don't think you're feeling up to it. We need you to do this.
He probably has a couple phone calls. He's probably going to get to it.
Yeah, I got a phone call.
So Jay was on letting the audience know about his diagnosis at about 9:05. It is 45 minutes later, and more than $6,000 has already been raised for Jay Randolph Jr.'s family at jayrandolphjr.com. How about that?
All right.
God bless it.
And that number will go way up, too.
Way up, yeah.
Just outstanding. Thank you. Thank you to the audience, always coming through. We will have our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Jackson and I will head down the hallway. And Doug, a lot of people blame Kyrou. A lot of people blame O'Reilly. A lot of people blame Parayko. A lot of people blame Doug Armstrong. But at
Jerry
the top of the
Rutherford.
list, they blame me and
Oh, you too,
Jackson.
yeah. Well, you're soft.
So, Stephen Wildwood may have a mic drop. I know he's not happy with what he has seen. So that'll be coming up on 101 ESPN along with Darren Pang will join us. What time is Panger going to be on?
10:15.
10:15.
Yep.
So there you go.
I just feel like if you guys had asked the right questions of Army and Chief and Stilly, I think they would have made different off-season moves, and we wouldn't be in this situation. So, yeah,
I
there's
agree
some
with you.
responsibility on your shoulders.
I agree with you.
Oh, my mate that missed a defensive assignment. It's fine. JR will pull out, a story about how great I did.
Mm-hmm.
So Panger coming up at
Well,
10:15
all right.
on Balloon Party. That is coming your way on 101 ESPN, and you're always welcome to text in, as many of our listeners do, some as Merle from Oakville or Hugh from Marlboro. And, Doug, we can't see the names in the 101 ESPN text inbox, so we have no idea what is real and what is not. And our audience has gotten into Angry 101 listener character, and they just throw us off. And
They come at you or the Blues?
No, us. Absolutely us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you get kind of desensitized to it after a little bit.
They rattle Jackson, though, still.
Does it
Sometimes.
hurt your feelings that there's so many thousands of people that apparently hate your guts on this show?
The thing that's most disheartening is it comes in before the show even starts. Like, they're like, don't know what they're going to talk about, but Jackson sure sucks. I'm like,
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, they're waiting.
They're waiting to snipe.
I feel bad for your parents, too, knowing that their son is going through this kind of hazing.
Yeah, they're all right. I wouldn't be surprised my dad peppered in a couple of shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny.
He's ornery, is he?
No, not about the Blue Note.
No. But if it were an NBA team that's struggling, that'd be different.
It's a Pelican family.
I guess so.
We've been a Pelican family for years now.
Well, all right. Some
Ladies
people
and
like some
gentlemen,
things.
And some people like others. Stratum Structural Systems online at stratumrepair.com. Matt Ford, Brett Groman. Stratum Structural Systems, that's who I have worked with when we have had water issues in our home, foundation repair needs, and I recommend them wholeheartedly to you. Gotten to know Matt and Brett, and I can recommend them. 314-620-8153. When you call there, let them know you're a TMA listener, and you get $100 off your repair project. Or go to stratumrepair.com. The Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, certainly a different tone today. So it is time for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Do not want any votes for this email, and I sincerely mean that. Just want everyone to know, especially Jay, the Miller Myers family love and absolutely adore Jay Randolph Jr. That is from Kevin Miller.
Kevin Miller.
From Buck Swope. Just wanted to say thank you to Jennings for providing so many great moments on TMA, for single-handedly turning around Normandy Golf Course, and for having Senior record that Buck Swope joint drop.
Oh, yeah.
He brought so much joy to the TMA lives and golf events and attracted so many great people to come together and have fun. Take care, brother. Don't give up. I love you. That's from Buck Swope.
Buck Swope.
Morning, guys. I had planned a silly email as usual and was getting ready to send it, but then I heard the heartbreaking news from Jay Jr. Felt like a ton of bricks hitting me, even though I just casually know Jay. Every time I was around him or interacted with him, he was always the top human I had ever met. So kind and genuine. Thank you for all the great laughs and kindness, sir. My prayers to Jay and his family. My prayers and thoughts to all of you guys on the show and all of the listeners. We love you, Jay. From the shadows of Dalhousie, Jay. Bless you. That's from the SEMO alum.
SEMO alum.
Morning, fellas. Haven't checked in for a while, but I just wanted to reach out and say my thoughts are with Jay and his family right now. We all meet hundreds or even thousands of people through the course of our lives, but every once in a while a guy like Jay comes along, a truly magnetic personality that people cannot help but be drawn to. He commands a room like few I've ever met. Everyone who has the pleasure of knowing him is better for it. We all love you, Jay, and keep fighting, brother. Thanks. That's from the hipster of Tower Grove South,
Hipster?
a.k.a. Tommy Hamilton.
Hipster of Tower Grove South.
Doug, he plays denim golf.
He wears blue jeans when he plays?
Denim golf. That'll shave 3 strokes off your
That's
game.
Hoosier.
You'll see it at Augusta, actually, in April. And that's for the purpose of time. That is what we have for today's Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. No voting today. Let's just abstain. And everybody, thank you for sending in your emails. And thank you for continuing to extend your thoughts to Jay and his family. More than $6,400 already raised, and you can raise money at jayrandolphjr.com. Post pictures, send your thoughts.
We can get that number up when we get on social media, when you get a moment here, and share that around
Absolutely.
the Twitter world and Facebook, and
Absolutely.
do better than that.
Absolutely. So please, if you can, just post messages, pictures, tweet at them, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is that you may be on. And as it also was said in there, while I know sending DMs might seem like it's an incredibly kind thing, and certainly I know that the motive is pure, he's just not in a spot where he can read them all and respond to them all. So posting on jrandolphjr.com is the best way, per the family's request. So I want to make sure that I say that. As you can imagine, they are focused on treatment, and that is the priority at the moment. jrandolphjr.com.
That's Junior JR or
JR.
Spell it out.
J as in J-A-Y, randolphjr.com.
Okay.
So thank you so much for Jennings for having the courage and the ability to call in and share this with the audience. We absolutely love him, and please share those thoughts with Jay if you can, in whichever way you can, via jrandolphjr.com or by posting pictures on the TMA fan page or on Twitter at STL Golf Geek. Time for us to close out the program, shut down the Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour for the Plowhawk, for Action Jackson, for Kenneth Iggy Strode, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Sullivan Vaughn, for Jennings Randolph Jr. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
We love you, Jay. Hang in there.